Mr. Mike calls the plays. Gaming chair, endless days. Podcast that goes through the streams. Living out our pixel dreams. Hit the button, go live, go live. In this realm where games survive. GamezAttack with a rebel spark. We're lighting up the digital dark. Game on, game hard. Streaming stars, we're never far. Game on, game hard. In this conquest, we're avatars.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. I am Mr. Mike, and you are listening to the GamezAttack podcast here at OldFreakyGamer.com. This is episode 117, as this podcast is called The Promise of Discs. And this is a gaming podcast, folks. If you did not know that already, welcome. Wow. Yeah, trying out new stuff here. Trying out new stuff with my my board here, my soundboard here. There we go. Let's lessen this up a little bit here. Yeah, welcome, one and all, to the best gaming podcast that you don't have to pay for or listen to a lot of in-game ads or in podcast ads or ads, or half the podcast starts off as an ad. There's no ads. There's no ads. There's no me saying, hey, come buy this, that from me, because I don't sell anything. Nothing. It is all free. It is truly free. It is on my dime, just because I want to have some fun here. And if I ever do sell any t-shirts or something, that'll be probably way down the line. But yeah. And like I said, any ads that you see like on a YouTube or any of your other podcast apps, that's probably 100% them. And I don't know about it because I don't go to each and every podcast app to see or hear if they try to stick in ads or anything. But otherwise, if you go to podbeam.com or oldfreakygamer.com, that's where my super pure version of the podcast is. If it's anywhere else, if you're watching this on YouTube live, or YouTube, not live, because I don't do this live most of the time, that should be ad free, unless if YouTube puts in the ads before this podcast or whatever. If they do, that's beyond me, because I don't put any ads in here. So but I do have the Mr. Mike's tip jar over at oldfreakygamer.com and on my YouTube page at oldfreakygamer on youtube.com and stuff like that. Oh, God, guys, it is, as I'm doing this podcast, Sunday. And boy, I've been playing some stuff. I've been doing some stuff. Before we start talking about these discs, especially the ones you see behind me, you like that? That's a few. That's a few of the discs from my personal collection. I made a nice little art what is it called? Art exoic. I made a little art there with my own games. Those are my truly from my back catalog of games. And that's just a very few of what I have in my 360 Xbox and Xbox One catalog and stuff like that. And that's not even including the Series X games that I got as well. But I do own some discs. Own some discs, and I bet you a lot of you still own some discs for your stuff. We will talk about that shortly, but we're going to get into, I'm going to kick it off here and start all this off with some games that I, Mr. Mike, have played in the past week, because why not? Kick it off there.
The games that have been played in the past week.
Oh, yeah. So, games. I actually played some games this week, throughout the week. Still pushing through PowerWash Simulator 2. I just completed the roller coaster. The little, what is it, a dragon or something roller coaster? I completed that. I think it's a crocodile. Crocodile roller coaster. Just completed that. Working next on the solar system. course, what do I have to say about that? It's PowerWash Simulator, folks. It's fun, and it's free if you got Game Pass Ultimate, and I think it's on the lower Game Pass subscriptions as well right now. But playing that on my Xbox ROG X and PC and stuff like that, just really fun to play. What more do I have to say about that? Power washing is fun. I did some power washing around on my car and stuff, and around at work. I was power washing some sidewalks and around the building and stuff. So yeah, I've been doing some real power washing, and I tell you, it's a lot easier and a lot more fun. Well, I can't say it's not fun doing it at work and stuff when you're just standing around, listening to music outside, drinking some water, and just blasting water all over the place and some soap and stuff. I don't mind it, but I'm really drenched and soaked to the bone, and my outdoor work sneakers are totally soaked. I should just wear flip-flops, but I like to wear the sneakers because there's a lot of stones and rocks I got to go around the restaurant of my area, and I don't want to be walking on stones and shit and with flip-flops on. That's just not that hurts. That hurts. But doing it in virtual world, power washing, very fun, very easy. Have no problem doing that whatsoever. Been playing that. Halo Campaign Evolved. Been playing that mostly on my Xbox ROG X. Still having the same great fun results. Runs great. A lot of areas they did improve in the game, and even though the human characters look a little plasticky still, they still look like G.I. Joe action figures and stuff when you're going around. It's Halo. It's Halo. It's a campaign. It has evolved a little bit. I hope they evolve it more for the facial features and the other characters when they I don't know, upres or evolve the next one if they do Halo 2 and stuff like that and they go forward, or if they do make a brand new smack dab Halo game, which I'm thinking that's what a lot of people probably would want them to do as well going forward. I wouldn't mind them remastering Halo 2 because I think Halo 2 is a game that I played the least amount of the Halos, what do you call it, quadrilogy of and stuff. Halo 2 is probably the lesser one, especially if they can add like a proper opening to Halo 2 or ending. I think it was it at the ending or the opening that they forgot to really do? I think it was the opening and maybe the ending. I don't know. I forget. It's been so long for Halo 2, but that I wouldn't mind them up-resing that a bit, doing that stuff. But playing it runs great on the Xbox ROG X. So whoever's been writing false reports over there at IGN.com with the reports saying, don't play it on your portable devices. Well, I can guarantee everybody and clearly state that playing this game on the Xbox ROG X, there's no problems playing it on that handheld. And it looks great, feels great, plays great. So they're full of shit. Maybe the other handhelds, possibly, but it runs great on the Xbox ROG X, and that's all that matters. As I looked at polls earlier in the week, they showed polls on how many people playing on what handhelds and stuff, and it was the Steam Deck and it was the Xbox ROG X systems that were way above everybody else. There was like minimal on everybody else's handhelds, and then Xbox ROG X and Steam Deck were pretty much neck and neck. So that's good. That's good to know because, if the hardware bullshit, shortages and bullshit AI bullshit and all that, and memory and storage, if that all eventually gets taken care of, which in this world, who knows? My hopes and dreams of that stuff is very thin. Luckily, I'm not building any new computers or anything right away. But in the future, if all that shit gets resolved and we can go back to somewhat normalcy on all this stuff, I would love to see what a future Xbox ROG X handheld or PC parts are in the future. Because shit. me getting another future hand, not that I am ready to get rid of my Xbox Rogue X already, but I love it to death. But I always look for a bright future of seeing what will come out next down the road. And I'm interested in PC handheld gaming. And I'm not talking about the Linux side of things, because I still think Linux is a pipe dream with Steam. That's just their side hobby project. They're very focused on it, but I don't think I don't think it's going to ever be replacing Windows anytime soon. It might complement Windows in gaming and stuff for people that just don't want Windows and they just want to go jump in and play a game, but beyond that, for updating it and, having to mess with Linux and stuff, I don't think many people really realize or understand that it's probably not going to happen, and it won't be. And even if it does somewhat happen more, you're going to be more confused than you would be with Windows on a lot of stuff if you don't understand that operating system, because Linux is a different operating system, and how it works and understands a lot of things. So people might get a little confused on how that runs besides a Windows-based machine, which I would hope more people would be used to. Like I said, I have no problems playing. Like I said, I got an Xbox Rogue X running Windows 11. I got this main machine running Windows 11. I got another little machine running Windows 11 in my living room as my living room PC/media box. I have no problems with Windows, especially Windows 11. And all these people that keep saying and talking shit about it and the updates and this and that, I have no problemo. Now, sure, I'm sick of all these 20 million updates that I always have to do every second Tuesday of the month and stuff like that. But I never really had many issues. The only maybe issue I ever have with updating Windows when it comes to Windows updating time is that it changes my microphone in OBS here and does a few weird little things. And then, the fact that my computers don't go into sleep mode properly most of the time, that they're still running, even though they should just be like in shutdown mode. That's the only issues I have with Windows 11 and the updates and stuff. But otherwise, I mostly shut my machines down when I'm not using them for a long period of time anyways. And if I am, they're just running in low power mode and stuff like that. But still, I have no issues playing games on my Windows-based PCs. And these people that, and I can name them. You might be listening to some other game journalists podcast out there. There's a certain guy that's all about old video games and Linux-based Steam, and he's like, "Oh, this is gonna take over and fuck Windows. I can't wait till Linux and Steam Deck and the Steam Deck machine, whatever bullshit, becomes the main thing." And I'm like, you keep dreaming there, buddy. You keep dreaming there. You keep playing those old shitty games and stuff. And mind you, I'm not an old gamer, folks. I play old games sometimes, very, very few times. But mostly I like to look into the future. I like to play the new games and stuff like that. I might go back to old games once in a while, but I'm not crazy like some of these people that are just stuck in the old 2D 8-bit era of gaming. And it's like, it's fine, but you can't complain that people aren't trying out and playing enough of these new games when people like you are still playing these old games. And then you complain that nobody's playing new stuff when you're clearly playing the old stuff most of the time and, not enough of the new stuff. So you can't complain about something when you're doing it yourself. You're part of that problem a little bit. So whatever. Like I said, Windows-based gaming, it's fine. Everybody that's freaking out, or all these people that just hate Microsoft. See, I hate Microsoft too, but it doesn't mean I'm going to stop using Windows. Unless if Linux turns into a big Windows competitor and it can run all my Windows-based software easily without any, issues or whatnot. But I don't think that's going to ever happen. I really don't. I don't think it's that kind of a operating system. And plus, there's still these other lawsuits and stuff going on and behind the scenes about, the Linux thing, and somebody thinks they own the code and all this other bullshit. And, I won't get into that anymore, but you can look it up if you want to. But I think everybody should just get a grip and just play your games on Windows. If you're gonna be a PC gamer, just play it in Windows. Don't try to play it in try to get all your games to run in Steam, or I want my games to run on Apple iOS hardware. No. You guys are really broken, and you gotta see where the big picture is. You gotta see where companies put their money in, and it's not Apple iOS or OS software. It's not in Linux. It's in Windows based software. I'm sorry to say, it's going to be a Windows future for PC gaming for a very, very long time. I hate to say it, but that's how it goes. That's where the money is. But yeah, played that. Played a little bit of more Monopoly on the Series X. Finished up a round or two of that. Beat some AI companions on that. Got to finally play Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced again, folks. Which I gotta put this as a capital R, not a little r. I got my show notes here. Sometimes I like to rework my show notes while I'm doing the podcast. That's not a good pod, but yeah, Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. It is a hell of a great game. I'm streaming it, I'm playing it, and also streaming it from my Series X to my Xbox ROG Ally X. I haven't been playing it on my Xbox ROG Ally X. I've been playing it directly from the Series X to my PC monitor here when I was doing the live stream Friday night, last Friday, or the Friday before this podcast. And yeah, Edward talks again. Cutscenes have voice again. A lot of stuff has voice again. And I am hoping, fingers crossed, knock on fake wood here. I can knock on my head. Maybe that's good enough wood right there. I don't got any wood down here yet. But yeah, I hope that's good going forward, because, a lot of patches happened in it. And I know I was saving this for the gaming news. But why don't I talk a little bit about that stuff now with the patches? So a ton of patches happened with Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. And I guess this is update 1.0.6. It launched, I think, August 4th, it says. And it brought a lot of audio patches. There's a lot of bug fixes, increased the number of autosaves from 5 to 10, fixed an issue on the PC where cutscenes could be locked at 30 frames per second, so I'm guessing now they're not. Fixed an issue where DLC pack notifications could appear to start a new game, a bunch of stuff like that. Gameplay, fixed an issue where players could be unable to perform leg sweeps on enemies in attentive or suspicious state. I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to do leg sweeps still, but I've been doing that. But where's the audio here? A lot of world patches here, a lot of gameplay, a lot of world patches, progression and economy patches. They did here. UI menu patches, visuals and graphics. Fixed multiple animation issues, fixed minor ragdoll issues. There was a funny little glitch in the game when I was playing it in the stream, where there was the wine bottle and some fruit or something in a bowl, and it was just hovering there when there should have been a table there. It was just hovering, and I went, hey, look at this, guys. I'm going to just knock this over. And then you just hear it with the table all falling over, even though there's no table. It was invisible, and it was just floating there. I thought that was funny. I like little funny visual glitches like that. That's funny. What let's see, localization issues, audio issues. This is what I was looking at. Fix various missing audio issues. Fix missing audio when the normal guard blocked melee attacks from the player. Fixed an issue where the hideouts watermill audio would be played. I don't think this was the ones. Let's see here. Then they got a ton of quests that they updated and fixed here. I think that was under the fixed various missing audio issues. I think that was the main fix. And I think that fixed a lot of stuff because they even said they balanced certain dialogues in a simple Chinese and audible entering and exiting menu despite the hideout's garden not being unlocked. Oh, there's a garden. The hideout's windmill. Like I said, it was maybe they fixed all that stuff with all these patches, which I'm glad. We'll find out next week, or I mean this week, this Friday, when I play more Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, because that's going to be my streaming game going forward. But I am very happy when things are patched, and I think Ubisoft does a great job getting games patched. I think they do a good job eventually fixing their games. I wish their games were more fixed and patched before they launch, but I am happy that I can be able to play these games and have fun with them without worries about things like that. And I was really bummed for a little while there, saying, "Oh, I was playing so much, and then I can't hear Edward and stuff," and that was a bummer. Like I said, folks, we will find out this Friday. I will try to get into it and play it during the week to see if it still works out during the cutscenes and stuff. But I'm really hoping that works out. I really got to figure out how to attack those bases. What are they? Bases of operation? The forts, the fort bases, because I'm really bad at that. Unless if my ship isn't upgraded enough to handle that kind of stuff. I'm thinking about trying to play it and try to swim over to him with Edward and try to just attack him with Edward without my ship. That is my next thing that I'm going to try to do. I'll see if that works out, because I know you can do that with ship-to-ship battles if you want to just go and jump in the water and swim over to another person's ship and attack them and stuff like that and take them all out like that and do the ship-to-ship battles. But I want to see if I can get that with the forts as well, because sometimes, I was attacking that one fort. If you watch my my previous stream, my last stream that I did with Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, I was trying to attack that fort. I was bombarding it. I was shooting it up. I was trying to use my mortars the best I could. Of course, the sea always got really choppy. Of course, there was always a storm around. It couldn't just be nice, calm weather. Too much. I think there's too much storms going on. Unless if that's what it's supposed to be doing around those areas. Maybe those are just storm-prone areas, and they wanted to keep it stormy like that. I don't know. I don't know if that's the fact or if it's just that the storm system is a little bit needing a little bit of a adjustment or something like that, because man, I every time I go there and get into that area where that the fortress is, the one that I'm trying to do, the first one, and I'm like, what the hell? The sea's getting choppy. It's getting really bad weather. And I'm like, no, this is making it really hard for me to try to battle this fort already when they got their defenses up and they're trying to shoot me. And I sank my ship like, 3 to 4 times trying to take down that fort. And I never could because their mortars kept getting me for some reason. Even though I kept trying to bombard their mortar and try to take out their mortar, which you can't really see. It's like on the top middle portion of that fort, which is another reason why I got to try to maybe go swim there and maybe try to take it out and take everything else out and then, I don't know, bombard it or something. I don't know. I'll figure out a way to do it. But otherwise, the other ship-to-ship battles, doing this and that, it gets kind of crazy. It got kind of crazy, and it's fun. It's fun as hell. And then if I die and stuff, I just go back to a previous save and I continue on and have a whole bunch of fun. And I barely touched. I did some main missions, but I barely touched doing the main missions right now. It's just a little bit of side mission stuff. I'm just been going around trying to collect as much materials as possible. That's my main goal. Try to get as much materials, upgrade that ship as much as possible so I can have something that's people will fear on the seas, on the seven seas, and Black Flag Resynced, and Edward can take them all out. And I hope he gets to get laid by that semi very sexy lady pirate that he's been dealing with. There's this like Irish like lady pirate. She's like, Edward, and she just looks like she just wants to get in some relations with Edward. And I bet you Edward would definitely like to tap that booty, as he would like to say in the pirate lingo. I like to get some of that booty on my side. But very fun game. And like I said, streams and plays well. And hopefully the audio issues are fixed. Knock on wood. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. We will find out, and I will report it again back to you guys on the next podcast if it continues to work or not. But like I said, I think if the audio issues are somewhat fixed. Like there was still an audio issue bug where the music kept playing, but that's okay because I just turned that shit all the way down. And the game music doesn't matter to me as much, but I turned it like really down, but I still can hear it a little bit, but that's okay. I just don't want it super loud when I'm playing the game. But and that kind of resolved itself over time. But yeah, I'm just hoping the main audio issues are good so that when I'm talking as Edward and in cutscenes and stuff, it doesn't just go and you don't hear nothing out of him. That's the only thing that bothered me really big time on that. It would bother anybody. That would be a game breaker for anybody. But if it's fixed and it continues to work, like I said, Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced will be my ongoing Friday night streams on Friday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern time at OldFreakyGamer.com, YouTube Live, and Twitch.tv. That will be my Friday night stream on Game On Live going forward because, frankly, it's a great game to just keep streaming. Tried to play a little bit of talking about older games, talking about a 360 game that is also up-res to work on the Series X and stuff. I tried playing some Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. A lot of people love talking about that. A lot of people love playing that game. I don't really get it. I got it. Like I played the other Banjo Kazooie games, Banjo 1 and Banjo 2E and stuff like that. And I got pretty far. I don't think I ever beat any of the Banjo Kazooie games. I just played a lot of them. And then I'm like, you know what? I always wanted to, because everybody always talks about how fun it is to build the cart in Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts and all that and do all that stuff. And I'm like, you know what, Mr. Mike, you should try it out. Try it out. See what people are saying about this and, report back. And I got to tell you, folks, either the game is really, really, really bad for doing that kind of stuff and building and, your vehicle contraptions and whatnot, because I don't get how to do any of that stuff, or I'm just really, really bad at it, which I could be really, really bad at it because I was not enjoying it. I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do here? Where am I going? It did not really provide me with enough details on how to go and get to the thing. Like I'm trying to get up to this one point, it's saying, in this one area, and I can't get up there because my vehicle can't roll up this certain mountain or hill or something. I got to get like certain tires or whatnot, and you can't go around or whatnot. And it won't let me go up that hill with my current vehicle and stuff like that. I'm like, well, how do I upgrade my vehicle? And it seems like it doesn't really properly show how to figure out how to upgrade or go and find the parts to upgrade said vehicle to be able to do these things. And it got kind of frustrating to me, and I just did not like that. I did not really care for that kind of stuff. Now, no, this was made in a different time and era, and they were trying new things with Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, and it looks great. It plays decently, but it just was. It was too much for me on that front. If I want to build stuff, I want to be able to easily build the stuff. Make it clear and cut on what I can do and what I got to get to pay for parts to build stuff, and make it decently easy for people to figure that stuff out, because that was like not that easy. But like I said, it's an older game. I gave it a try. I might give it another try. I have it downloaded to my Series X console, but going forward, I don't know. I don't think that's for me, but I was just looking at games that I could try out once in a while, try out some older games on my Game Pass subscription and stuff. I do own a physical copy of Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts that is still in brand new and wrapping here at the house, but I just wanted to try this out to see how decent it was and stuff, and I'm like, nah. But like I said, I'll give it another try, hopefully this week if I got some time, and see if I can figure some shit out. And if I can't, well, that's what's good about digital games. Sometimes you can just delete them and not worry about it. I bought this stupid game again. This stupid game from this stupid company that everybody's hating on, which I don't really care about, because EA, even though they're basically now owned by the Saudis, that's 100% owned by the Saudis now. It doesn't bother me one way or another. I heard a bunch of other people say the same thing, because frankly, I don't think EA has made many games that I've ever wanted to play recently. Like, I don't want to play any Madden. I don't want any sports games. I wanted just some general IP games that most of the IPs that they used to make, they just stopped making. So they have nothing for me to play most of the time. There is that Jedi Survivor game that I eventually will get back into and play, because I did like the first Jedi game, but kind of fell off of it because it just got kind of tedious. But I wanted to try Jedi Survivor because a lot of people like that, and I know they're making that new Jedi game, I guess, behind the scenes, if that's still in the works. Didn't like any of their Battlefront games. Never really played any of their new Battlefield games. I played that Battlefield 0 back in the day, but I know they got the new Battlefront game. I don't know if it has a single player game mode to it or not. It might just be multiplayer, but not really interested in that. Like I said, they killed off most of the franchises that I liked. The Command and Conquers, the Burnouts, a bunch of stuff like that. So they haven't been making anything really that I wanted to play, except for this game. Well, there is the Sims, but I got the older Sims. I got the older Command and Conquers and stuff like that from them. I got the Dead Spaces, the Dead Space Remastered, stuff like that. The game that I have recently purchased, because I guess it just recently came to not Game Pass, but to Xbox, on the Xbox to be purchasable. Plants vs. Zombies Replanted. I think it was originally just for mobile and stuff and PS something, but it was out. It was on sale, and I said, "Can I get a fresh batch of achievements for Plants vs. Zombies Replanted?" Because I was very big in the early days on the 360 with playing Plants vs. Zombies Replanted on there. Now, note, I used to play that game many times on tablets, where back when I used to play games on phones and tablets back in the day when it was meaningful to somebody like me, I used to play nonstop Plants vs. Zombies on my tablets, and it was fun as hell. But going today, for now, and playing on the console and stuff, I played and beat that. Got 1,000 achievements before. What was it? I don't even think it was 1,000 achievements back in the day. I think it was something else. But now, Now I could get 1,000 achievements, brand new achievements for Plants vs. Zombies for this replanted version. And I've been playing it and streaming it to my PC and stuff like that. And I got to tell you, from streaming it from my Series X to my PC and playing it, you would think there would be some lag issues or something, but no, runs perfectly fine. And the game is fun. It works. Excuse me, I got to take a drink of water because I got a little frog in my throat here. Excuse me for that. I usually don't drink any water during my podcasting, but it's a little dry in here because, it's hot outside. I got the air conditioning on in the house, and it affects me. Affects my sinuses. It affects my throat really greatly. I don't really like air conditioning too much, but because I got to have it on, especially when I got a super huge computer running over here in the background that takes a lot of energy and it puts out a lot of heat. Yeah, gonna need that. Anyways, going back to Plants vs. Zombies Replanted, it plays fine. It's a great game. I've been going through each wave, each levels and stuff like that, and I'm going to try to get another full achievements from it again. That's my goal. Try to get the 1,000 achievement points from it, or at least I'll try to get close to it. My fingers aren't like they used to be back in the 360 days where I was able to quickly do stuff, But it's still fun. It still plays well. And for $20, I think it's perfectly worth it for a very, very old game that I don't know what they did to update it or something. Maybe it was just updated to work on new next-gen consoles and stuff like that. It's a shame I couldn't buy a PC version of this game because I would have really liked that. But that's okay. But for those of you that never played Plants vs. Zombies, I mean the original, not the Garden Warfare type, but the original side-scrolling 2D Plants vs. Zombies adventures, maybe go pick it up on your Series X consoles and series consoles and stuff like that. Play it on there and wherever else it's available because it is quite fun and it gives you some challenge. Gives you some challenges, and I love killing zombies with plants. I think they really let that franchise go as well. They really fucked up that franchise, just like EA fucks up every franchise. That's why I don't care that the Saudis bought them up because, and that I know a lot of people are going to be losing their jobs. I know they're going to down the workforce, and I know that company's going to eventually go under because when you're taking on so much of that debt that you're never going to pay off because you guys don't make that many games, and everybody's complaining about the Saudis, owning everything. I don't think that's going to be very good for that company. I think that company's destined to be chop-shopped eventually. And hopefully all the IPs get sold off to decent. I shouldn't say. I don't think there's anybody decent really out there that would be able to buy those IPs. But hopefully those IPs go to a better place eventually. Because in my heart of hearts, old EA was pretty good. This EA, very nothing. It's meaningless to me. I don't have no highs or lows about it. I don't hate it, EA or anything. I just think it's nothing. It's a nothing burger of a company. It just does not have what it used to for games like it did back in the day. And yeah, I don't think it's going anywhere except for bankruptcy court or something. I don't know. It's going to be privately owned, so it doesn't necessarily need to go to, no shareholders are going to be running it. But yeah, it's just one of those consolidation things again. Most of the big part of the industry is consolidating for your gaming companies and your gaming needs and wants. And then you got all your little indies and stuff all around that. But yeah, that's how the gaming world is going. But yeah, Plants vs. Zombies Replanted, fun game. you might as well try to play some of this stuff before it's gone, before the Saudis chop it all off, just like they did with that reporter's head that everybody likes to keep talking about. Everybody's like, hating on them, but it's like, yeah, but doesn't mean you're not gonna still buy games from them. And there's other countries that do just as bad or worse that you probably don't want to know about, that you don't want to hear about, but you hear about stuff like that. And that's like, well, whatever. And plus, we're giving them nuclear capabilities. So whatever. I don't care either way. You know, they're the Saudis. They got oil money. Let them burn it all up on a crap. I think this was their worst investment ever from their PIP investments, investing and buying a whole company with tons of debt attached, or more debt attached to it, like EA. I'm surprised EA is still out there in business anyways, with the lack of games and nothing was selling, and they didn't even have a Battlefield game for a while. And like I said, the only thing that was propping them up was some of those live service games, or what was that? What's that game called? Shoot. From Vince Zampella and them, that live service game. I forgot the name of it already. Oh, shit. It's on the top of my mind. It's that shooter thingy. And then, like I say, you got some Star Wars games and some stuff like that, but nothing really. They never used any of their IPs well. And then every company that EA would take on, EA was, to me, was the first embracer group, because they would always buy, purchase, and embrace all these companies and then chop them down to nothing right away. And they never would make anything from these companies like Westwood, Maxis, all this stuff. All these popular or once popular companies, studios and companies, just got fucking raped of their IP, and they did nothing. They basically just locked it up in a vault somewhere where it'd never be seen, and that's kind of sad. That's kind of sad on that stuff. But Plants vs. Zombies Replanted. And then there's the big one, the Gears of War E-Day multiplayer beta, which you can watch right here at OldFreakyGamer.com, which is live now on my website and YouTube.com. If you want to watch the video over there, because it is a YouTube video. And I've played the beta. I've lived the dream. The future of Gears of War is coming. I only played it last night on, as doing this podcast today on Sunday. I played it Saturday night. Did the whole multiplayer let's play of it and video of that, and played a lot of the Horde Siege mode. That was fun. I went through the whole Horde Siege mode with a bunch of randos. We did a very kick-ass job. We won it. Now, note, we were playing on probably the easy difficulty and stuff, which got pretty challenging once in a while. I could not figure out how to build anything except for a big, what do you call it? Oh, shoot. What was it? Not the Buster gun. Oh, what was that big gun called? The big like rocket grenade launcher type gun. That's what I kept building, and I kept using it on the big enemies and just blowing them away with that and helping out my squads and stuff. That was the only thing. And then I would get on the machine guns and all that, and on the chain gun when it was time to extract us on the helos and stuff, and I'd just mow them down and stuff. That's what I mostly did. Sometimes I'd do a little combat with some of the characters with my original prototype Lancer and stuff like that, and had a bit of fun with that. The chainsaw needs a little bit of work, I think. And it could just be me again, or it could just be the way how the game plays, but every time I'm trying to run up to these enemies and try to chainsaw them, sometimes it does not seem to work. And it should be more slick than what it does. Because, like, I'll have the chainsaw running, and I'll go right next to one of these bad guys, and it doesn't start chainsawing. It doesn't do the animation. I do not know why, because I'm right on them, right by them, and then the enemies will start hitting me and knocking me out of the sequence after a little bit, and it's like, what the hell? And then I have to roll out of the way and shoot them and whatnot. it could be a lot better with that. And I'm not big on the shotgun in that game at all. The booster, the bump, what's it called? The booster bunker. Ah, shit. I forgot what it's called. The booster shotgun. That's a piece of shit still. I mean, a piece of shit for people holding on to it because they just love shotgunning everything. And I played one round of multiplayer versus mode. And I'll tell you, folks, the bullshit shotgun is still alive and well. And if I was the people over at the Gears of War studio, the coalition, my recommendation for you, gentlemen and ladies over there, I would recommend you limit the use of that damn fucking shotgun. I think it's called the Garnisher. I think it's the Garnisher. Now, don't quote me on that. I was just thinking of it right now. It might be called the Garnisher shotgun. You need to limit that in multiplayer, especially for just multiplayer versus mode, player versus player mode. Now, you can have maps and, settings that, allows shotguns the whole time. But for normal play, you should limit it. Say, hey, this guy can use this shotgun up to a certain point, and then he has to get rid of it and use like the Lancer and everything else. And then eventually he can, after a little time, his cooldown time has passed, he or she can pick up that shotgun again and start using it again. Because once they're just doing most of the people are just doing all shotguns, and I'm trying to just do the Lancer, and I'm trying to lance them, and I get shotgunned, or I'm trying to shoot them from afar, and I'm actually hitting them in the head, and it's like they're bullet sponges and they're not going down, and then they just take one shot with me when they're far enough back that they shouldn't be able to kill me, and they can knock me down and kill me with that shotgun. That pump action shotgun, that's bullshit still. That's still bullshit to me. It was bullshit from the very first day Gears of War came out. The very first Gears of War came out with that shotgun in that, and it's still bullshit to today. They kept the bullshit alive with that Garnisher shotgun. And sure, I could just use the shotgun myself and just shotgun everybody else, but I like the Lancer. I like all the other guns. I like to try using different guns and techniques to have fun with. The game is still seems like it's still way too fast right now, and I miss it being a little bit slower. It's probably a lot slower than most online multiplayer games, but I wish it was a little bit slower at times, because these are big, heavy dudes that should take a little while to run stuff, but it doesn't seem like speed is the matter in this game. So it is still pretty fast-paced. Like, they bumped it up, because it used to be, the original Gears of War games used to be a lot slower, where you go around, boom, 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 and stuff like that. And it seemed like it was better that way, but now it's just like, oh, we got to make it for like esports mode, where it's got to be fast. And I'm like, I don't know how much player versus player I'm going to actually be doing. I will play some multiplayer. Mind you, I'll be mostly the support, but going in and just trying to shoot up everybody is like going to be like a hard thing for somebody like me to do, especially with slowness. Now, playing that Horde extraction mode for them online, I'll play that all day, all night. That's something I'm going to get into a lot, is playing that Horde mode, the Horde extraction mode. That's going to be fun. I cannot wait to play more of that stuff, especially in new maps and characters and stuff, and play with a bunch of randos when we're all together, just a whole bunch of us bombarding these enemies. Oh, yes, I will play that all the time. That will be fun. That'll be my main multiplayer thing. But with the player versus player, I will dabble in that. I'll jump in and out, but it's not going to be something that I really get into too much, because, like I said, the Garnisher shotgun ruins the whole thing for me. For somebody like me that can't, hit the buttons as fast as I used to, and that even if I got one of those special controllers with the back paddles or whatever, I still couldn't do it. It's not for somebody as old as me that can't do that. Now, no, I will do it. I will play it sparingly, and I will try to be as much as a support. Like, I will follow my team and stuff. I'll try to go around. I'll try to do trick shots and stuff, throw some grenades or whatever, shoot them from behind, help my fellow teammates out just to take out these guys. But otherwise, I'm not going to be running and gunning too much in Gears of War E-Day multiplayer player versus player mode. But it all looks great. It all feels great. I love, I tell you, I love that we can jump now. Jumping is a revolution in this game. It is the biggest thing that they have come up with in this Gears of War multiplayer beta for Gears of War E-Day. Jumping, where I could jump over cars, hop on ledges, do this, because all the previous games you couldn't jump. Jumping is a godsend, and it's perfect. Why is perfect for jumping? The control scheme of this game is perfect. I had no problems learning and playing and doing this stuff. Like I said, I just want to learn how to more properly upgrade my equipment and stuff and do some other stuff. But overall, the Gears of War E-Day and the multiplayer and the horde mode and stuff and like that is I cannot wait to play the campaign, because this is looking and feeling really good. It plays very well on my computer. The settings are all on high and epic mode on my computer, because I was playing on my main computer here making the video, and it recorded just fine, and it sounds great, it plays great, it loads up quickly. Well, the main game doesn't load up quickly, but the matches load up pretty quickly, and everything looks great, and it feels great, and I had a blast. Now, I'm not going to be, I know the beta is almost over, or I think it's going to be like, not over. I think it goes to the 16th. I thought they said like the beta was going to end, but it was going to come back and stuff, but for like the regular people, but I could be wrong on that. I think it mainly ends on Monday, but I'm probably not going to play any more of this. I'll wait till the game comes out to actually jump back in and play more E-Day multiplayer and stuff like that. But I just wanted to try it out. I wanted to see how it looked and felt, and how Marcus Phoenix looked and felt. He looks great. Everything looks beautiful. It looks like a very beautiful, very polished game for this beta. And I think they did an excellent job. And like I said, I cannot wait till I get my collector's edition statue and all that I bought of this game, and get a physical copy of it, even though I'm going to just download the digital version of this game. And I will play this on PC, and then I'll have a very great time playing this game, getting back in with Marcus and everybody and playing some multiplayer. And it's going to be fun, folks. It's going to be fun. We'll do some streaming of it when it comes out in October. I'm really excited. The beta went really good for me. And like I said, I'm just dabbled a little bit in it, a few hours. I did the training mode a little bit there, and then I found out there was a live training mode after that just got unlocked. And yeah. You know, I'm not the best. I could say I kind of suck at most of it, but you know, I'm mostly the single player type of guy in the Gears of War universe. But I hope they eventually maybe try to bring back the part where you can do not capture the flag, but destroy the power generator or something, where you can be as the locust, or you could be as the cog to, you know, to protect your power thing, and then you could be as the locust to try to destroy it. I hope they bring back that kind of a scenario where you could build up, like you can have them build up their blockage thing, their fences and stuff, and I could become a centipede and take it all down. I would love that. I would love if they brought that kind of stuff back. And that was in the Gears of War Judgment thing. That was a great multiplayer thing. And I hope they would bring that back, or something similar to that in this Gears of War E-Day for the multiplayer. But like I said, Horde mode is pretty close to that. They do a lot of that with the extraction stuff and all that. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It played well. I put out a code onto my socials for people who still didn't buy the game or anything, or don't have Game Pass Ultimate or anything like that. I had an extra multiplayer E-Day code that you can use for the rest of this weekend, I guess, until Monday, which is today as you're watching and listening to this. So it's too late now, unless if you just play it, download it, and play it right now. If you're listening to this and watching this on Tuesday, you're out of luck. But if you get to it by end of Monday, you could get in a few good matches and stuff like that if you want to. But yeah, I did that over the weekend. Put out a code for that, and yeah, Gears of War E-Day. It's looking to be a really good game. I hope it does well. I know it's only going to be coming out for Xbox and PC now, and not PlayStation anymore. So it's not going to be as big, but oh well. We got to start. I guess they want to start focusing on their own thing. And I heard a lot of rumors. This isn't news, but I heard a lot of rumors that Microsoft will. Well, first off, that was the last game I played in the games that I played in the past week. But I heard a lot of rumors going on that the future consoles and the future gaming generations and stuff, and what's going to go on in the near future. I heard, just like Sony did, pulling out of like Steam and stuff, I'm hearing some big rumors that Microsoft and Xbox might be pulling out of Steam as well with their games, but still selling them on their PC storefront, which would make sense because when they come out with the Helix console, they're going to have that PC storefront. They're going to have all, competing storefronts, and they just don't want Steam to get that extra 30% and all that from their games and stuff like that. So I can fully understand if Microsoft pulls out of that part and tries to entice people to come to Xbox PC gameplay and get, the Xbox store on PC and stuff like that, and the Xbox and stuff like that, more so than going on Steam and all that. And especially when Steam and Valve are trying to do their whole Linux thing, and they're trying to get people to leave Windows. And I can see maybe Microsoft and others pushing back saying, no, we want to keep it on Windows because we don't want you guys. Because remember, Valve and the Steam Steam machine and all that stuff, that's all going to be, and that Steam OS, that's all their ecosystem. That means they get to call the shots. They can do the rules and all that stuff. And, when they get games in there to play, they get to do the pricing and stuff, even though they do have sales and stuff, but they do charge that 30% and blah. And I'm sure a lot of people out there, unlike Microsoft, a lot of people out there like Epic Games and stuff like that, they have their own storefronts. They want to continue to make that money themselves and not pass it along to other people. That's why, you got Epic in the Epic Game Store, and Epic going, oh yeah, we're going to join Microsoft's Helix, because that's the whole notion too, that these PC storefronts will be on the Helix, where you could choose where you want to get your games from. And of course, Epic is jumping on board with that. Ubisoft's going to jump on board with that. EA, I hear, might do that. I don't know about Take-Two. And I don't know about Steam. That's a yes or a no there. Sony just backed out of PC gaming again. So you're not going to see much from them going to PC because they think that they're just going to be selling all this stuff on PlayStation. But who knows with the whole digital thing, which we will talk about in a second. But I've been hearing rumors left and right, and this is going to go against certain somebody's, all the gaming's going to be on Linux, and it's going to be great with SteamOS and Linux. Well, what's going to happen when most of those games that are being made by Microsoft and Xbox's game studios aren't going to be on that, and all these other people are going to try to get away from that again and just do their own thing? I don't know what's going to happen with that too much, but, just saying. This is all rumors and speculation, people. This isn't me trying to push something in a direction, or I don't have anything in it. Like I said, I'm all about Xbox. I'm all about Xbox and Xbox PC. That's where I stand. That's where I have a lot of fun in. I do buy some games on Steam here and there, but my main gameplay is always on Xbox and Xbox PCs, so that's where I am all about. Otherwise, I have no, what is it? What should I say here? I have no ill morals against anybody. Like I said, let Valve and Steam do what they do. They want to keep making Steam machines. They want to keep pushing Steam OS and they want to make it better. Go ahead. Competition. Keep going. Keep doing it. It'll scare these other guys to do better themselves. That's all I say. That it just helps. All it could do is help, you know. But I don't think Valve is too into that stuff. They're making enough money. They're just doing this stuff to show that, hey, we care about gamers. We want gamers to have fun. We want gamers to be able to game and have the best experience and stuff with their games in our ecosystem. And that's why they're doing it. So they can get people more into their ecosystem, locked in, and they'll buy more games from Steam. That's how everybody does it. So that is that. So I do have another digital code just to let you guys know for Movies Anywhere for this week. Another free digital movie code, one available only, first come first serve basis for Kill Bill: The Whole Bloody Affair. So if you guys are interested in that movie, when you look in the show notes, you can try to use the code. Whoever gets the code and types it in first and gets it, that's your movie. So I did say I was going to have another movie this week, and there you go. Got another movie, and that's Kill Bill: The Whole Bloody Affair. I watched that whole thing last week. It's 2 parts still. It came in a 4-disc pack when I bought it. There was 4 discs for that. Part 1 on one disc, part 2 on the other disc. I didn't know that. I thought they were both like the full movie on each Blu-ray disc, but no. And it's like 4 something hours long. What I'm going to say about that movie is it's great. They do stretch out certain scenes. The only thing that they really stretched out was the anime of the Kill Bill: Whole Bloody Affair. Otherwise, everything still happened pretty much the same way it did in the Kill Bill movies. I don't think there was too much difference in any of the Kill Bill movies besides that whole anime that got extended. That was the main thing of that. And also in that digital Blu-ray HD pack, it came with that extra bonus movie that Yuki, the Yuki bonus pack, Yuki's Revenge, little short that it was like a Fortnite made a short that they did. They call it The Lost Chapter. That was in that. That's also pretty good. But still, Kill Bill: The Whole Bloody Affair, I'm glad I got it. Probably wasn't the most necessary movie I wanted to get, but I got it anyways because I'm still trying to buy a lot more and trying to update in my collection of movies and get more Blu-rays of stuff that I don't have or I still only have on DVD and stuff. And I'm still going through the process of finding and trying to buy as much as possible because who knows about the future of anything, movies, discs of movies and stuff like that. I've been hearing a lot of bad rumors about Disney maybe pulling out of physical media, which that would suck because they can't be trusted with just only digital media. And who knows? I think there's still a big market for Blu-rays and stuff like that. But yeah, I've been trying to buy. I try to buy a certain amount of movies. Like I got a bunch of movies and seasons here that eventually I'll rip. But having them and owning them right now is just good enough for me. But the digital code, free digital code for Kill Bill: The Whole Bloody Affair is in the show notes. First come, first serve. If you get it, congratulations. If you didn't, well, maybe next time when I have another digital code down the road for you guys. So let's talk about how Xbox and Sony is going to be going into the future with their next gen consoles, and maybe 2028 is we're predicting here that we're hearing, and maybe a little sooner we'll hear about some of these consoles, which frankly still too soon. still too soon and that hardware is still bad and they should just hold off until hardware pricing gets a little bit better for them and everything. But I guess the future has to continue. They got to continue to push, even if the future is expensive and bad, but they still going to continue the push and all that. But yeah, Xbox is going one direction. Sony's going in another direction. And a lot of people have a lot of different opinions about this. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, Sony's doing the whole digital going digital thing. Will it last? Will they go back? And not many people, like the one main guy that I keep talking about, which you probably know who I'm talking about. Mr. SteamOS / Linux based guy that likes to play old games. He says that this whole Microsoft Xbox thing where they're trying to get, the backwards compatibility and stuff and get people to get games again or purchase games again, which might be some of the remedy here to get more of these games digitized or be able to be digitally available for the future for backwards compatibility reasons and stuff like that, because Microsoft announced that they will still do continue support for disc-based media, even before the Xbox reset. And going forward after that. They will continue to support physical discs that they will have a disk drive in the next Helix console going forward. But that doesn't mean beyond that they will still have a disk drive. But what they're trying to do, which I'm hoping that's what they're trying to do, is trying to get this next console with the disk drive and all that. And I'm hoping it's with this. And hopefully they could do it with the Series X console as well and stuff like that. Or if people still own 360 consoles, but I don't know if that's a thing. But I'm hoping what they're planning on doing is if you pop in, what they can do with Xbox One to Series X now, all those discs have their own digital IDs to them. So they have digital codes and they have their own digital IDs, and you pop them into the drive. They know you own that, blah, 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 blah. They're all serialized. So they're all individualized. So in the near future, if you just want to digitize that whole game and you don't want that disc in the disk drive anymore, you could go and do whatever, pop it in, say, hey, digitize this whole entire game. You own the digital license. So anytime you want to download that game from the cloud, from their internet, from their back end, you can do it anytime. What they want to try to do going forward with Xbox backwards compatibility on PC and Helix, which they're talking about including Xbox 360 games, which is the biggest thing for a lot of us. I know me included, because you could see in the stuff behind me, that's just a small fraction of my Xbox 360 catalog. And of course, I still got some Xbox originals and stuff in there, but I got a lot of 360 games. If they can get most of those games to work where I could pop in eventually a 360 disc into that drive and I can somehow get a digital code from it. Now, note what I was saying, if I had to pay like a couple bucks for each game to digitize or whatever, I would be willing to do so. I know not everybody would like that because they would be like, hey, I already bought this game. I already own this game. But if I was going to pay like $2 to $5 per game, just to shut up the ownership of these games, the publishers and stuff like that, to shut them up about, well, we don't want people to just continue to have a license for these games so they could continue to play them forever and not buy our new stuff because we're not making money off the old stuff. Well, here you go. Here you can make a few extra bucks on each game of these old titles that you do not update or do anything for. Like if I can get my whole Rock Band collection just as a digital license Mortal Kombat games, Fallout games, even though I hear they are doing the Fallout remasters that someday we'll hear about them someday soon. And we can see when I could play Fallout 3 or New Vegas again, back remastered and stuff like that. But a whole bunch of other games that they do not, that they're not remastering and stuff out there, and titles that frankly have licenses that expired and stuff. I would like to be able to just pay like $2 to $5 per title, pop in that disc, get a digital code for them, and that is it. Then I can sell off the disc, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And I will own that game forever and ever, as long as they do the backwards compatibility, and these games are digitally be able to be played in future hardware consoles or PC. Be able to play a PC version of most of these, or do something where these are Xbox 360 games, but they're using a special emulator on PC to be able to play these 360 games. What I was really thinking that Microsoft should have did, and nobody's ever talked about this, but you remember the PS3, folks, when the original PS3s, the big bulky ones, used to have like everything on them, and it used to have the emotion chip. I think that's what it was called. The PlayStation 2 emotion chip was the chip that you were able to play PS2 and 1 games on that new console. Well, you could play PS1 games on the PS3. I could play PS1 games on this PS3, but to play PS2 games, you need that emotion chip. Just like the 360 needs that one special licensing chip that was in there. I think it was in the disk drive itself that was licensed by NVIDIA or IBM or somebody, I forgot who, that was able to allow these games to be played. Why not just put in this Xbox 360 compatibility chip into the Helix console or whatnot, so we could just pop in these 360 games, be able to play them directly from the Helix, or, like I said, digitize them for future things like they could still do even without it. But why not do something like that? Sure, that means you got to pay more to put in. It's another chip and thing that you got to pay for to put in the console. And of course, that's going to continue to make that console go way higher in price. But they talk about all these games and stuff that won't be able to be backwards compatible for the future because of licensing and stuff. Well, isn't this a way to kind of get around that, at least for one more era of disc-based gaming, to put in that like Xbox 360 chip that will allow us to play our 360 and Xbox One original games in a Helix? Wouldn't that make that like the ultimate gaming box right there? Like Sony did for a short period of time with the PS3, where you would be able to play not only your PS3, but your PS2 and PS1 game. I should have kept that, but I heard most of those got like dead already because, the hardware died in most of those, but I used to have one, but I was like, I want the slim version of the PS3, and I didn't want to have a whole bunch of PS3s laying around, so I sold it as a knucklehead that I was. But anywho, if they can figure out something like that, what I really want to do, and I know this won't happen, I want to be able to play, which you can kind of see up on the very top if you're watching the video version of this podcast. I want to be able to play my SmackDown versus Raw games. Back when those wrestling games from WWE were good still. The SmackDown versus Raw series were still good games back going forward back in the day. Now with these WWE games, they suck. Like I said, I didn't even play the last. I wanted to try out that trial of WWE 2K, WWE, what is it, 2026 or whatever they're calling it. And I didn't want to sign up for all their bullshit where they would just try to fucking advertise to me and have all my fucking personal information. Fuck that. If they can't accept me just signing in with my Xbox account and stuff, fuck that. So, yeah. I'm not going to play any of these new WWE games because they really fucked that all up, because that's what 2K does to all their games, especially their main games like their sports games and stuff like that. Hopefully Grand Theft Auto ain't too bad with that, but Grand Theft Auto has their own Rockstar, and I'm already subscribed to the Rockstar Club and all that stuff, and So I shouldn't have too many problems with that. But otherwise, fuck 2K on all that stuff. And, fuck WWE because their new WWE games just suck. Like I said, the SmackDown versus Raw series of games were perfect. I loved playing them. I bought every freaking years of SmackDown versus Raw whenever it was on the 360. I bought them all. And then when they turned to WWE and then whatever, that's when the quality changed in those WWE games. And that's when it got shitty and shitified. And then it got worse and worse and worse. And now it's just mainly a shitified version of nothing. When they had a perfect system with those WWE SmackDown versus Raw games. Those were perfect, and they fucked it up. But I would like to play those. I would like those to be back-compat games for the future because I would love to play those on my Helix or my PC or whatever. But if they can figure it out, and I would be willing to pay a small little fee per game. Or if they have like a thing, hey, pay us $100 and you could get all your games digitized. All your games. It doesn't matter which ones. They'll all have a digital back-end code for them so you know that you own them all. I would do that. I'd pop in each and every one of my 360 and Xbox One original games, or Xbox original games, I should say, and Xbox One games, and I will digitize the hell out of all those. If I can play them on PC and 360, they are slowly starting to do that with their own games, with their own original Xbox games. They're trying to test out the waters. I have not played any of those original Xbox games on PC. The only reason I have not done that yet is because I'm waiting for them to implement the achievements for those games, because once those games are played and they bring out the achievements, it doesn't mean what you have played in those games equals to you getting those achievements. You will have to replay those games again. So I'm thinking, Mr. Mike, if I want to play Conquer Live and Reloaded again, or Blinks the Time Sweeper or something like that, I have to wait till those achievements get enabled, when they finally bring achievements to those original Xbox games, and then I will start playing those games again. That's when I'll go in and play those games to get the achievements and stuff. And I think that's going to help too. Adding achievements to the original Xbox library and stuff, trying to bring most of those games to the future, which I think is going to be easier than the 360 games. And then seeing what they can do with 360 games going forward, where if they can do that and they can bring most of that catalog, or, as anybody would say, I would love the whole catalog, but if they could get most of that catalog and they could roll that out, which they say 2027, 2028 is when they're going to try to roll out 360 games to PC and Helix. I hear that a lot of these 360 games and stuff that are coming to PC, Project Helix and stuff, are going to be games that you will have to buy as well. And that's just because they want to entice the developers of these games to be able to let people play these games again for PC and whatnot, and their Xboxes and stuff going forward, because then they're making money, and that's incentive to get these older games to be working on newer stuff. So I'm all for that. If they can get a lot of this Xbox 360 catalog, either if you got to buy them brand new, or you can be able to buy them brand new, or be able to use your existing catalog and transfer to get a digital license for them for these systems, for a PC and Series X and Helix and stuff like that, I'm all for that. I am very much all for that. Having the digital kind of way to go forward is a great way to bring a lot of people back to Xbox. In my notion, I know some people say that's not going to do nothing for them. That's not going to do anything for the hearts and minds of people that want physical discs and stuff. And I think it will. I think it will. I think if as long as you can get most of your back compat, because that's the whole reason people want their disc, because they want to own the stuff. And here's the thing: you could still keep your disc, but here's the better thing: you don't ever have to pop those discs back into your machine because you got a digital license for the games that you already own, and they get carried over to the future, and you can play them in any of your consoles or your PC. I would be all willing and for that. I would be fully for all that going forward. Now, Sony, on the other hand, they're taking the other approach where they're just killing off producing discs that they are saying, hey, we're ending disc-based media production in 2028, which is pretty much when the next gen PlayStation and stuff will eventually be coming out. That's what we're thinking. That's when Microsoft will also come out with their machine, because of course they're not going to just let Sony come out with their machine. And I think, which most people say, oh, it's a non-starter because most of the games are, and Sony says this too, that most of the games here made for PlayStation is all, people are buying it digital anyways. And I'm like thinking, yeah, but you still got a lot of those, even with the people buying a lot of those games digitally on the PlayStation still. And there's still a lot of people that buy physical discs for your console. And they will still be telling their friends, they will be telling other people's friends and family members about it. And then they'll be like, hey, we don't want Sony to just have the only back end to this, because Sony has not ever proven themselves to be very fair when it comes to people's digital media ownership, as you could tell with all the movies and stuff. And even though video games are a different thing, if they decided to just take off those said games off their back end, you would have no way of downloading and playing those games on your future PlayStations. And as you can tell, Sony isn't really big into backwards compatibility at all. They got a few little piles of backwards compat games that you can purchase and play through their various cloud systems and stuff like that. But they don't really have anything that I would say is decent enough to play. Should I say? Excuse me, I'm trying to. Oh, I can't take this off. That figures. I hate when some videos do autoplay here, and it just annoys me because I don't want to see this. Anyways, Sony's going in, I think, a wrong direction, and I think the volume of voices and the voice of the people, even if they are digital people and physical people alike, are gonna get just really big on this whole no disc thing. I think it could hurt Sony in the future. I think it could and might. I'm not going to say that's a positive, because a lot of people are PlayStation fans right now and not Xbox fans, because you could tell, because there's more PlayStation people than, but maybe that shift might go back, especially when they know how Sony handles digital content and stuff going forward and all that. And with the whole outages and all that, and how Sony never really apologized or really talked about their outage, but Microsoft, you can tell, Xbox and the leadership over there are like, this is uncalled for. We want you to be able to play your games even offline, even if we're offline a little bit. You should be able to play these games. Notice they're like trying to say all the right messaging right now, and good on them, I gotta say. I know it's probably just their tactics of trying to do it, and they should take any advantages they can. Like they said, hey, we're going to support discs at least for one more generation going forward. That's people hear that. That's people saying, this is from the company that fired all those people and stuff and closed all the studios, but they'd let all these other studios go on their own. So that's okay. They're not just shutting down studios and saying, no, we're keeping the IP. They're letting people go. So that's okay. But even though all the people lost their jobs still, and there's going to be a lot more people losing their jobs. And, but yet they're doing some things. They look like they're doing some cleanup. They look like they're doing some other things, and they want to preserve games and backwards compatibility. They're still for that. They're still doing Game Pass, at least for now. So they're still doing stuff and they're still trying to do stuff and they're trying to get new games made, even though they're like the main games. They're still trying to do stuff over there when Sony is not really doing much and they're just saying, hey, we're coming out with another PlayStation. We're going to have Grand Theft Auto on here. We're going to have Wolverine on here. What else do we have on here? And I love hearing the super diehard PlayStation fanboys and girls going, well, they got Wolverine on here. They got Grand Theft Auto coming on here. We got Dying Light 2. And I'm like, what else? What else do you got coming on your PlayStation after all this time on your PlayStation 5 or PS5 Pro? What else? When you got a ton of games still coming out for the Xbox, you got Gears of War, we got a Fable next year, we got Halo that just came out. What else? A bunch of other games that are coming out. There was a bunch of other games that I was looking at, like that Dispatch finally came out. I'm gonna buy that eventually, probably for Xbox or PC or something like that. What else? I'm trying to think of. There was a bunch of other stuff, and of course, eventually, Grand Theft Auto is coming out. It's in November for Xbox as well. But what has Sony got first party wise? Microsoft has Gears of War and everything else under the sun. What does Sony have? That's what I keep saying to people. What does Sony have that you really want from your thing? Because you can have this very expensive, beefy system, but if you don't have that many games to play on it, I don't understand why you would stick with a company that's getting rid of your physical media, that's getting rid of your digital media behind the scenes, that doesn't give a care about your past for backwards compatibility if you want to play some old games on it, and that they're not really coming out with many new games for it. I just really don't understand why people are holding out on it and why these fanboys and girls out there still think that they're, I don't know. It's just the times we live in. I don't know. It's really interesting, but maybe those people will eventually come on over. I think there's going to be more people if Sony sticks to their guns, and which a lot of people say they are, that they're not going to go back on their word about going back to physical media and stuff, that they're going to not have a disc drive in the next console. Maybe the next console is going to be more Switch-like I said, and it's not going to have a disc drive. Maybe it can't have a disc drive because it's going to be more of a handheld-ish type of device like they said they were going to make. But maybe that handheld-ish device is going to be like an Xbox ROG, like an Asus ROG Ally or something type of thing. But it's going to be a PlayStation handheld, but also console where you dock it and it's more powerful. Maybe that's the route they're going. And maybe that's the reasoning behind why they're saying we're getting rid of disc-based games in 2028, but we're not telling you. If they were to tell people, oh, yes, we are getting rid of disc-based games for that future, but there are reasons why we are doing it, because our next console can't have a disc drive because it's going to be something special. Hint, hint. And they could go hint, hint. We know this is going to be upsetting for you guys, but with this next gen hint, hint console that we can't really talk too much about, that we're just hinting about, this is the reason why we can't have disc, because there's not a good reasonable option to do it. That would be the thing. That's the only thing I can think of going forward, that, the next PlayStation is going to be more Switch-like, or it's going to be a handheld like they were talking about that they wanted to make, but it's also going to be the main console as well, where you probably dock it and you get all that extra power and that horsepower, and then you could play it on your TV or on the go and stuff like that. That's the only thing I can think of. And if that's the way they're going, then okay, then they should. I know they want to keep it all hush hush and secret, but if you're hurting your reputation with this whole digital media thing and losing and getting rid of discs, you guys are going to have to try something different and try a little harder, or maybe say, hey, we're going to all digital in the future because there's going to be we won't be able to have a disc drive in the next console. Hint, hint. And that's all they could say. They don't have to say, this is going to be a handheld of blah, 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 because everybody will be like, it can't have a disk drive in the next console. Like they said, we can't put a disk drive in the next console. It's impossible that we can put a disk drive in the next console. And they're like, hmm. But they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. That would be a smart thing to do, because then people would be like, oh, they must be doing the Switch thing, but they can't say that yet. But they're not going to say that, and nobody's going to talk about it, because why? I don't know. I think they're going to put themselves in a bad position, and I think maybe, hopefully, even though both these systems are going to be super expensive and outrageously expensively priced, which is all the same words I'm saying there. Microsoft, you can tell that the Xbox is going to be just a regular machine that's going to go under your console or under your TV or whatever. It'll be able to play PC-based games. You'll probably be able to use a keyboard and mouse and stuff, but it's also going to be, your console as well, and it's going to run multiple different things of software, even if it's Xbox 360 digital, Xbox One originals, Series X and S, and Xbox One titles on that, or just PC games. You got it all. It's going to be all right there under one box. In one box, keep it simple for you gamers that want to game on your TVs and stuff. And that's what's going to still have a disk drive. Sony, don't hear too much from them, what their new system is going to be like. It's still all too hush-hush. And, when Microsoft was all hush-hush about the Xbox One console, and then they said all that stuff that they were saying about when, Don Matrick was still around, when he said the stupidity that he said over there about disk-based media and stuff like that. And what if you don't have internet? Oh, you play your older games, They didn't have good messaging. That fucked them up. That fucked them up for that generation and the next and the next. But maybe this whole thing will come back around and hit Sony, and then people will come back to the Xbox again, because they'll be like, oh, our games are going to be preserved. Our media is going to be preserved. And going forward, at least for one more generation, we're going to have physical discs. And then those physical discs that will get digitized and we'll have licenses for those will be carried forward for new consoles that won't have disc drives, but will still be able to play all those titles. And we could keep all those discs from our old systems, and they can just be, kept on our shelves or in storage or something, because we want that. But that sounds like a better thing than what Sony ain't saying. Sony ain't saying shit. Xbox and Microsoft are saying some stuff, but they're giving you tidbits here and there, and it all sounds a lot better than what Sony's saying. Sony's just saying, we're getting rid of discs. This is what we're doing. That is it. And then you got people on both sides saying, hey, they either like discs or they don't. You got Take-Two's boss saying, oh, he defends the no disc version of GTA 6. He equates physical media releases to vinyl records, which, hey, dude, guess what? Guess how many people are buying vinyl records nowadays? A lot, because vinyl records are back, baby. And if you sound like you don't care about your past or what's history is of gaming, that to me sounds like arrogance on Strauss Zelnick's part, saying, oh yeah, that's, no discs for GTA 6. Yeah, and people don't need discs anymore. That's vinyl record shit. Okay, a lot of people are buying vinyl media discs or vinyl discs again, listening to music on record players again with their vinyl. I get a bunch of vinyl discs. I don't collect them. I don't keep buying them, but I get some, especially if I get a digital code for the music as well. But I still get some vinyl music when I decide that there's something interesting to get. And, it's all a collector's thing. It's all physical. People want to own physical, because once you own something, if I have this in my hand, I know I own this. I know nobody can take this from me. this belongs to nobody else but me. I'm not going to give it back to anybody because I own this. I own this controller. I own this microphone. You're telling me if it's all digital, that means you don't really own it. And that's like, and that's why Microsoft's Xbox is saying, well, you'll be able to do discs again. We want to try to digitize, and you get that license, and that license says, hey, you own this content, and you will be able to play this content going forward into the near future and beyond, as long as we continue to make hardware or be able to have that back end to support your backwards compatibility going forward. And those discs that you use to digitize and whatnot, you can keep those. Those are still yours. You can still play them on older hardware, but going forward, those are just going to be your paperweights going forward. But everything's going to be digitized, so you'll be able to play those games going forward, which is a good version, a good note to go out on. Unlike Zelnick, where he doesn't care because he's just all about the cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. And he knows, just like they're doing GTA 6, they can charge extra high prices and keep the prices higher. Because if they put out a physical, if GTA 6 was going to be a physical release coming out right away, they know that those prices could drop in stores and people would have big sales on them, and that they would not be getting as much money and stuff from per said discs going forward, that it would be harder for them to keep a tight grasp on pricing for said game that they spent billions, or like, was it over $1 billion or more on GTA 6 that they spent on making it and stuff like that? And then of course you got the advertisement and all that stuff. Yeah. Fuck you, Zelnick. You're just talking as a business guy. You're not talking as a guy that cares about the people, the gamers, the people that purchase your media. You're talking about as a businessman saying, hey, I like it no disc because we can keep the prices high, because that's what Sony wants to do. Eventually, and Microsoft will do that. Steam can do it. Everybody can do it. But you got to have that competition too, so that you can keep the prices lower digitally. But a lot of these back ends and third parties are like, no, we can keep the prices high because it's not that have physical hardware in the system that storefronts and people can lower the prices of themselves. That would cause us to not be able to make as much money on those things. That's simple as what it is. And then he was talking about video game streaming. He says it's going to be actually good in the next 3 years or so, and that you'll be able to run Grand Theft Auto 6 and other things from streaming wherever you go, not just consoles and stuff like that. A lot of people say no. A lot of people say that's going to be, that latency is the worst thing. As a person that streams games all the time, just from my console to my PC or my Xbox One X, it has its ups, it has its downs. It works pretty damn good for me for most games that I play on it. I never really had any problems. I never really tried doing multiplayer games online. I'm pretty sure that might be a little harder, but I could. Otherwise, for like shooters, main games, stuff like that, it works just fine. It playing, like I said, Assassin's Creed, Black Flag Resynced and stuff like that, or Shadows or whatever I was playing, streaming from my console to my Xbox One X or my PC. I really had no real problems. It might, not glitch out, but it'll do a little little glitchiness at a point, and then it goes and it's perfect. And I never really have any problems with that. And I think my Microsoft Xbox is still coming out with that future Xbox Series controller or whatever. That's going to be more so a controller where it'll link right to the internet, so you don't get that latency for your gaming and stuff like that. So that's a possibility for that. Otherwise, I don't think I don't know. I don't have too many issues with streaming. Like I said, I streamed a lot of games over the past couple of years on using Xbox's cloud streaming service and all that, and it seems fine to me. Especially, like I said, mostly do my main streaming from my console to my computer, which from the console has to go up to the internet to the Microsoft server so it knows what's streaming, and then back down to my console. It seems like it runs pretty damn good to me, so I have no problem with that. Others said, like from Final Fantasy Revelation director, what's his name here? I'm trying to look up his name. Director Noki Hamaguchi. He stated that he's the director of Final Fantasy VII Revelation. He says physical games releases must continue. He's all about physical releases. He says it would be a real shame for that culture to disappear. That, you know, both as a creator and a game fan, that he believes that is that has more to it. That has more not just the ownership, but and that he loves owning physical items and stuff, but it's for the culture. And he doesn't want that culture to disappear. He thinks it's a shame that, you know, he hopes that discs will be sold in some form in the future, and that a digital code in a box is nothing like a physical game and stuff like that. And that he says it's just the culture. And yes, it is a culture. It's something that most of us grew up on. Either you owned a cartridge for a game, or, like I said, a physical copy of a disc to pop in a drive and play it right from that disc. Even though that's pretty much dead and gone, but still, at least you have that thing and you can pop it in anything, and you should be able to play it in anything. And a lot of times you can't going forward. And a lot of times, just like on the Nintendo Switch 2, it's just a game key cartridge, and it just has the key on it, and you pop it in and it has to download the whole game. Doesn't that defeat the whole purpose of having the fucking cartridge to begin with? To be able to play the game right on your system offline? How about if these people that are buying Switches don't really have good online? Then they got to wait a long time just to download that said game to their system if they have the memory in it. Seems like a bad thing to me. It's a bad direction, but we are going to all digital direction. But until storage and RAM prices go back down again, it's just making it worse for people, because a lot of people just don't have that space, the digital space to store their stuff in. And the whole, taking discs and ending physical disc for PlayStation. And I find this pretty funny. Mexican lawmakers are officially taking Sony to court over its decision to end PlayStation physical discs. Is that because they're being made in Mexico, some of those discs? I know Xbox discs are made in Mexico, because it always says on the package, made in Mexico on the Xbox disc. I think Sony does most of theirs in Japan, I think, right? Is that where they do most of theirs? Because I think they were talking about their back end thing, but still, first off, who's going to care about Mexico? I'm sorry for you Mexicans out there, but who gives a fuck about Mexico? They probably buy and pay the least amount for gaming out there than anywhere else in the world. They probably have the least amount of sales. And a lot of those probably are I'm just going to say this, illegal copies, bootleg copies, or stolen copies are getting out there into Mexico of physical game discs, and not actual purchases that go back to Sony and people and stuff like that. I'm just saying there's a criminal activity in the South that, people like to ignore a lot of times, and even their own president of Mexico likes to ignore their issues and problems, because, cartels are powerful down there, and they have a foothold on everything, even government down there. So, that's why that is. But how are you going to take Sony or anybody to court over it's their right to basically say, hey, if we don't want to make discs anymore, we're not going to make discs. But I guess Mexico's National Antitrust Commission is raising concerns about ownership of in the digital age. Yes, there are reasons why that would be bad, but I don't think you can force Sony not to make physical discs in your country for the PlayStation and stuff. And if you were to ban the PlayStation from Mexico, I don't think it would hurt Sony that much either. I don't think Sony would give a care. I don't think anybody would. And like I said, folks, for me, it's a yes and a no about physical media. Yes, I still love physical media. Like, hold on 1 second. I gotta go all the way back here. Like, I still have physical games here. I just got this game, the 360 Onichambra Bikini Samurai Squad. You can't get this. You can't buy this online digitally anymore, I don't think. Maybe on Steam or something, but I got a physical copy of this with the disc, which I can pop in. Whoops, if I don't break it first, which I can pop in to my Xbox console and play this game right away. Can I do that with a digital thing? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. So, yeah, I'm a double-edged sword. I like having physical media. I like looking at covers. I like looking at the discs. That's what I like. I like the pretty things behind it. Do I really need physical discs? No. If they do right by their digital media. If the digital future does right by me and I can secure my own digital license for my media and I'm able to play that media going forward into the future for future consoles going forward and nothing's taken away from me, I'm all for that. I don't mind being all digital. I have space. I can always get space to download or re-download games and stuff. That doesn't bother me. What would bother me is if I get a game and it becomes all digitized or get a digital game and somehow they just block it and they delete it or whatever, like Sony does. And I can't play that thing or I can't play that game, that digital copy of that game in future systems. That's where I go and have a problem with. That's what I have a problem with. Longevity. So it's got to be fixed on that notion. Let's see here. I think I'm going to be talking about GTA next now because we were just talking about that. Let me see here. I'll talk about Emby a little bit first before we get into talking about that, because I think I'm pretty much said what I said. I said this many times before. We got into this. I think what Xbox is doing, which I hope Asha Sharma is and her crew are dedicated to, trying to get the hearts and minds of the gaming community to side more with the Xbox brand over this whole backwards compatibility thing, supporting physical media going forward, at least for now, and trying to get as much of that back compat from the 360 and Xbox original era to the now and the future for PC and stuff like that. So when the Helix comes out and beyond that, or if you're just playing on PC most of the time like me, you will be able to play all those games, or at least most of those titles, without any problems. And that just sounds like a right thing to say. Because then when you say, hey, we're still laying off people, we're still making games, but sometimes they're just going to be those more popular games, or the fact that, in the near future, you won't have discs anymore and we're going to go all digital. At least you can trust us, knowing that your content will be playable for the future. When Sony's just saying, we're just getting rid of discs because we just are. We got nothing to tell you behind that. We're just getting rid of physical media. It's all going digital. We think because of digital sales are super high for our console and physical sales aren't as high, that we're just going to continue to just go all digital. We're going to take that chance. And I've even heard, like I seen an article, I think I talked about it before, they only sold so much of their first party titles, which is kind of sad to me, was in the hundreds of thousands per their actual main games. So it's like you're not even really selling that many of your own games in the great numbers that you would think. So to me, it sounds like maybe Sony is trying to take that leap again. You know what? They did that the first time that happened was with the PSP digital, the PSP, what was that called? It was like the PSP 3 or whatever. It was that all digital PSP, which never took off because people are like, I don't got the internet, blah, 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 blah. I like that. That was the first time Sony tried all digital. Then it was the Vita, which they really didn't back up. And then I think they tried it again with something else, and then they failed again. Now they're trying it again, and they're trying to eliminate all the backwards compatible game or, their back catalogs. It seems like Sony keeps going on the way where they're trying to sweep all the old content under the rug so they can just sell you new stuff at high exorbitant prices that they get the control that they're not really telling you about. And that kind of bothers me. That bothers me. And people that go along with that are blind to see, oh, maybe this ain't the most, cost efficient thing to get or play. And that all these games are coming from mostly third parties. Maybe that machine, that PlayStation 5 Pro and stuff isn't as worth its weight in cash that you paid for it. I don't know. Might be great hardware, but like I said, Xbox ain't cheap either, but at least the hearts and the minds of the gamers are in their messaging, which Sony used to do to hurt Xbox back in the day when Don Matrix fucked everything up for the Xbox One with the messaging and stuff and the whole digitizing of games and blah, blah, blah. And Sony did the whole, here, you want to play this game? I'll pass you this game. Here, take this game. You can borrow this from me. Well, Microsoft's coming back with that whole old messaging, but this time they're able to talk about it in a way that makes sense to people, that they are all on the same page this time, saying, hey, guess what? A lot of these games we already have serialized from the Xbox One era and beyond, because the whole reason behind that whole serializing of the games and digitizing of those games was only just so that, and they never said this, was that you can have this game digitized so you can play it on this console or other consoles because you have the license for that. And going into the future, you will always have that license and you won't need that disc going forward. Now, and then you could say, yeah, it sucks for people with not so great internet, but I think we think it'll help out the majority that do have great internet that can store it and have the license, and it will help people so you don't have to pop in a disc all the time to play the game. That it's all, a digital license that you can download the game and play it. That's their hearts and minds. Sony, not so much. Also for digitizing, my Emby, my media server. Overnight last night, I've been working very hard to go through each and every one of my movies in my catalog on my Emby and on my other app that I got. I got a app that I catalog all my movies and stuff that I own, digital or physical, stuff like that. And I made out the list and I did all the stuff I did behind the scenes to know what I own, what I don't own, what needs to be fixed, what needs to be re-added to the main catalog and stuff like that. I got that all squared away. There's a lot of stuff I got to re-rip I got to go through a lot of totes to find a lot of movies and shows that I just lost for some reason. And I got to redigitize them. Maybe I forgot to digitize them, put them on my service, do all this stuff, back them up. And I'm also slowly going through all my other TV seasons now that I got that side fixed, going through each and every episode, renaming the episodes so the Emby app can recognize those and put them in the correct serial episode number. So I'm digitizing my own series of shows and stuff like that, which is going to take a while still, but I've been going pretty hard on it. And just having my own personal streaming service, like I said before, is just amazing. Right now I'm watching all my Walker Texas Ranger shows on there, and it plays an episode of it, and when the episode is ending, it's like, oh, go to next episode, and it starts doing the little timer. It does everything you would see in an actual streamer, like one of those streamers from, like a Netflix or something. It does everything like that, shows the episode name, what the episode's about, who's in it, blah, 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 blah. Oh, I love it. I love the Emby app. The Emby, trying to think of the name, server / player app. It is a great media center app. I highly recommend it over Plex or anything else. I heard that other media player service is kind of in turmoil now because a lot of their main people that worked on the software are just left. They quit. And that there's a lot of turmoil going on that other third party one. And like I said, Plex is just gotten too clogged up and expensive, and it's just too complicated. And Emby is so sleek and sexy and so quick. And man, I've been doing all this stuff, and it just makes it better and better and better. And I got my lifetime pass for that, and I'm just so happy about it. And it works so well on all my devices, my TVs, my media centers, mostly my PCs, my Xbox, my tablets, my phone. It's just the best thing for me to have, and I still highly recommend it. And it makes my streaming service for my future, because I'm still buying a ton of Blu-rays, DVDs, and stuff of media that I digitize them, and then I store them in my totes as backups. And then I just have the digital stuff all on the, my server. Oh, it's just a beautiful thing. I don't have to just go to each folder looking through them and saying, what's on here? Like I used to do for most of my life. I'm like, okay, I got all my movies and TV shows digitized, but I got to go to all the folders to see what I have here. I got to go look at, like, I got the app service that I have what I know I have, but I got to go look inside the folders to see where they are and blah, 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 blah. A, B, C, D, check here. Where is that file? Double click on it, play. Nah. This, as it's sleek, you can see what you're playing. It looks like a streaming service. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm telling you, like I said, I've been working for hours and hours. Like I'm actually an employee of my own on this stuff. And I've just been doing the whole streaming thing on that. It is crazy. It's crazy, but it's fun. And then I have to take a break at times. Like right now, today, I'm not going to do any of that stuff. I'm not going to digitize anything. I'm not going to work on anything. And then tomorrow, maybe I'll do a little bit, and maybe the next day and stuff. But, I can't go too much into it because I just spent hours. Like I'm trying to do some more gaming, but I've been working on the Emby backend servers and stuff, and and doing typing the new names of all the files and stuff, updating all the file names for Emby and stuff. It's just crazy what I'm doing behind the scenes, but it's coming out great. It's coming out great. I'm really having a great time at it. And it runs, like, you select a title you want to play. You just click it and hit play. It plays right away when you're done playing it. Like if when you're in the middle of the show and you have to go to bed or whatever, you just, go do your thing, click out of it, and it'll save the exact spot where you played last in the thing. And it says, do you want to continue? It has your little cue there. Do you want to continue this? Yeah, sure. Click it. Or you can say, I played it, I'm done with it, or whatever. And you want to continue to do the next episode. I love it. I love it so much. Why do I ever have to subscribe to a Netflix or a Disney Plus, or I got Prime Video or any of those other ones? Why do I need any of them? If I can get all the media that I can and get it digitized, all the Blu-rays I can and DVDs, and digitize them and keep my own big back end, why do I need to spend, money on third-party, streaming services if I have my own? Another great reason to be able to own physical media, when you can back it up and play it anytime you want. And it's worth it. It's worth spending money on. Okay, so there's a GTA sneak peek coming up, which a lot of people are kind of being stupid about this. A lot of people that don't understand or know any better about this. At first, I thought it was only going to be on Netflix, but it's not going to just be on Netflix, folks. So gamers and gamettes out there, people that just don't want to really know or pay attention or try to look up where it's going to be streaming on, sure, it's going to start first. So what Rockstar is going to do for Grand Theft Auto 6, they're teasing an extended look presentation that it's going to be a 30-minute presentation, I think, or it's going to go up to 30 minutes on a Netflix show. What does it say here? Yeah, it's going to be streamable on Netflix on Thursday, August 27th at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And then it's going to go up on YouTube after at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So a few hours later. And it's going to be a Grand Theft Auto 6 extended look, which I'm sure it's going to be hopefully gameplay. Hopefully it's going to be gameplay, story, what the world is going to look like, how long it might take, what you can be expecting, how the game plays and looks and acts. I hope all that stuff is in there because that's what I want. I want to be able to see, what's the story going to be about more. I know they teased it a little bit, but I want to see more on that, on Lucia and what's his name? Sorry about the dude's name. I know Lucia, but I want to see what they're going to be doing and up to. I want to see how big this world is going to be this time around in Vice City. And I'm sure I think they said most of the state, how good it's going to look, how the weapons are going to look like and feel like kind of in the game. I want to see, are we still going to have that weapon wheel or did they change it up a little bit differently? Is it going to be really good for driving and gunning people down, switching weapons? I want to see all that. I want to be made, I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say. I'm speaking before I'm thinking. That's the whole problem with me. I want to understand what they're going to do for this next game before I go ahead and pre-order GTA 6. I want to see what this has to offer and if I like it. Because at earlier days, it was like all this social media this, all this social media that, and I'm hoping it's not going to be a bunch of social media bullshit in this game, which hopefully not. But it looks like it's going to be interesting. I hope this shows a lot of the stuff that they got to show off. Like I said, it's coming on Netflix first if you're a Netflix subscriber, but it's also going to be It's also going to be put up on YouTube after at 9 p.m. Eastern. So after that, which August 27th, what is August 27th? I think that was a Thursday. Yeah, it's Thursday. August 27th is a Thursday. I'll be watching it on Friday, probably, because I won't be able to watch it on Thursday. But people were getting up in arms like, oh no, you got to be a Netflix subscriber. They're paywalling this. They're paywalling Grand Theft Auto 6 extended look. And I'm like, at first I was thinking, wait, they're not just going to put this on. Even if they did put on just on Netflix, I was like, okay, that's interesting. But I was like, nah. And then I looked and I'm like, oh, of course, it's going on YouTube. They're just doing it a little bit later. So I bet you Netflix or somebody probably gave them a little extra money to put it on Netflix first because it was a easy money grab. I'm sure that was the case why they did that. And then they would put it on YouTube a little bit after so that the rest of the masses would watch it that don't own Netflix, that they want, because this is an advertisement basically for the game, for GTA 6. So of course they're going to put it on, and I knew it. I knew they were going to put it on YouTube after they said 6 hours later, it'll be available on Rockstar's YouTube channel. And all these people were like, now they're putting it on Netflix. They're paywalling it. Fuck those guys. Fuck GTA. Fuck Zelnick. Fuck Take-Two. And I'm like, wow, you guys are getting up in arms already just for nothing. They're just so up in arms. And there's a whole article. This is unbelievably scummy. GTA 6 fans are annoyed by Netflix's paywalled extended look at the game. This is on IGN. This is an article on IGN. And I'm like, look, and I'm like thinking, I'm like, guys, it's going on YouTube a little bit later that evening. Get a grip. Get a fucking grip. And yes, it is kind of scummy in a way because, yes, it's a cash grab because I'm sure Netflix is paying Rockstar, I bet, some money to be able to put this on their service first before putting it on YouTube. Or else they would have probably said, no, we're going on YouTube. And then whoever else wants to carry this video so we can just advertise to you. But they're probably doing it because they're getting some money from Netflix on this thing. So that's what a business does. That's what a business always does. Now, if this was only going to be exclusive to Netflix, then I'd be like a little question mark over my head being like, okay, isn't this supposed to be like an advertisement for the game, but yet you're only going to do it on Netflix? Because that's what I was originally thinking. I'm like, well, that's kind of, that's when I would have said it would be kind of scummy because I'd be like, oh, so you want people to subscribe to Netflix just to see your advertisement, which you could do for free. But I'm like, no, they got to be doing it on YouTube. And of course they are. And people are going crazy because they're not reading the whole articles. And I guess the messaging was just saying mostly Netflix because, of course, excuse me. Hold on one second. Oh, excuse me. I was coughing again. Too much talking. Too much breathing air because my nose is all stuffed up. And of course, yes, I would have said, yeah, that would have been kind of scummy because I was like, but I knew it was coming on YouTube and nobody reads the room. Nobody follows up on that. They just see the first thing. And that's what the whole, and we could go back to the whole, PlayStation getting rid of discs thing and stuff like that. And before that, when Microsoft and Xbox originally in the Don Matrick era was talking about, a digital license and this, whatever people see and hear first, they stick with that and it sticks in their minds permanently because a lot of people have this problem where they can't get past that initial messaging and they can't update their brains and with this messaging going forward. And what Take-Two was doing and Zelnick and stuff, they only said it was going to Netflix first because they do really want people to go to Netflix to watch this because they're getting money from Netflix for, I'm sure, how many people view it and stuff like that first, because YouTube probably gives them way less, if at any money for it, for this whatever presentation they're doing for GTA 6. That's why they're promoting and they weren't talking anything about YouTube. If they would have said, oh, this is coming on Netflix, but then YouTube is going to get like 6 hours later. We're just doing a little thing with Netflix. We're doing a little joint partnership there, but don't worry, folks, that is coming on YouTube a little after. I'm sure people would not be up in arms as much. I'm sure people would be because there's people that are gamer crybabies out there. Like everybody, there's a crier baby for everything. Fast food joints, this and that. There's that whole Pokemon cards where issue now where Target employees are cutting open the plastic of Pokemon card boxes so scalpers don't want them as much anymore. And the people are going up in arms. Like this one video I was watching where this guy in Target was going up in arms with these people and he's like, why are you cutting open the plastic? And the guy's like, so scalpers don't just fuck it up for all the normal people that want the cards. And he's like, you're ruining the Pokemon card business. Oh, you're ruining Nintendo's Pokemon card business. And I'm like, dude, you fucking pokey piece of shit. You crybaby lying piece of shit because you're fucking scalper yourself, probably, you little bitch. They're not doing anything. They're not like cutting your cards open. They're not going and slicing open your cards. They're doing the box because you won't fucking do your stupid bullshit that you guys do where you try to buy all the card boxes because you guys are fucking scum of the earth, you scalping pieces of shit. Yeah, and this guy's like, you're ruining the Pokemon. And I'm like thinking, I doubt that they're ruining any Pokemon business. I bet you a lot of parents and kids that will be able to go in that store and go look at it and they'll be like, oh, we'll buy it. And one person did say, he's like, I'm buying it. He says, I'll buy them. Give them to me. I don't give a shit. I'm not a scalper piece of shit like him. If I was there, I would have been like, I'd be like, you're just a pokey bitch, aren't you? That's what I would have said. I would have loved saying that. I've been like, what's wrong with you, pokey bitch? You're going to cry about him cutting open because you want to be a scum of the earth and try to scalp him or something? This is going to people like me and other kids that actually play the game, collect the cards, have fun with them, not trying to sell them off like you, scum of the earth. Oh, I hate those people. Oh, if there's one type of people I'd love to get wiped off the planet Earth is scalpers. They are the scum of the earth. And they're such whiny little bitches. And I love it when, if I was that target to play, I'd be like, well, don't buy it then. You're ruining the Pokemon thing? There you go. Then don't buy them. Bye-bye. Is that a policy? And I'm just listening to this whining bitch saying that. I'm like, wow. And that's what I feel about this whole, now, no, Take-Two's fault for not saying, well, it's coming on Netflix, but then it's coming on YouTube a little bit after. We're just doing a promotion with Netflix first, and then it's coming on YouTube 6 hours later. If they would have said that, okay, but I'm sure they didn't say that initially. So, of course, everybody got up in arms like, paywall, which is not the case. Not the case, folks. We will all be able to see this. Don't worry. Don't worry. Unless if you're one of those people, I gotta get Netflix to rip this content off so I can put it on my YouTube channel so I can get some views. I gotta get my views. I gotta be the first to get my views. They're taking my views away. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like a bunch of whiny bullshit. People, these scum of the earth, people that got to get there first, got to do this, got to jump in, when the rest of us are like, whatever. Like me, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait till Friday, because when this comes out on YouTube, which will be at 9 p.m. Eastern time on that day, I'll have to be in bed by then because I got to go to work at 4 a.m. in the next morning. So I'll just wait till the next day to watch this presentation when I get home. I don't care. It's going to be there. It's not going to break me. I don't have to put it up on my website right away. Now, if I was home and not working and stuff, sure, I'd do that. But I work for a living. I'm not a little bitch like these other people that, then there's so many. It sounds like there's so many of these little bitches out there that whine about stupidity and stuff, and they don't know what they're talking about. It's crazy. That's why I love staying at home. That's why I'm a homebody, folks. I don't go on trips. I don't go out into the world too much, except if I go to the movies or shop or do whatever, and I just come right back home because people are really bad nowadays. Really bad. Society is ugly. Ugly society out there with a lot of these people, and it's just so sad that people get up in arms of this stuff. And for us normal people, for people like hopefully you listening and watching this, or watching this podcast, or listening to this podcast, and me, we don't care because we'll see it eventually. We'll get it. Just like I don't care about if people ruin movies or plots to games or whatever to me, or plots to movies, whatever, because it doesn't bother me. Because it's like, oh, that happened to the movie. Great. I'm still going to go see the movie. I don't care. Tell me who the main bad guy is. I don't care. Who wins, who dies. I don't care. Because first off, I'll probably forget it by the time I go to the movie or play the game. I always do, because my brain is limited of how much space I can hold. Two, if I do remember, then I'm more excited to see, oh, I can't wait to see this going down now on the big screen or in the game. So ruining something for me, a plot of a show or movie, is non-existent to me. It does not compute. That does not compute. You could tell me, like Rockstar could come to me right now and say, Mike, you know what goes on in GTA 6? You know what's going to happen? You know what all this is going to go? You know what the final mission is? You know what's going to happen? You know what you're going to do? You know how this is all going to end? They could tell me every single plot and thing in the game, and I'll be like, cool. Can't wait to play it. And I'm going to forget all of this by the time I play it. So, okay. They can tell me everything and I'll forget everything. Unless if I record it on a video or audio or something, and I'll still forget. I'll be like, did I do a recording of that? Oh, it's good to be older. old man with a crappy brain when my brain is super full. But yeah, I don't get up in arms about any of that stuff. You know, people just got nothing better to do. It makes me sad. It makes me think, man, I'm the normal one here. I'm the normal one. Oh God, please, people, get a grip. Jeez. They were talking about pre-orders for Grand Theft Auto 6, talking about how it's doing well. They keep saying it's doing well. They're saying the numbers are already exceptional, I guess. They still think it's going to be on track to make between $3.25 to $5.2 billion in its first week on digital store sales. They say store shelves, which that's bullshit, but they still think they're going to make $3.2 to $5.2 billion in its first week for this game being sold. I guess it's already sold $260 million worth of pre-sales. That's still a little ways to go to 3.2 or 5.2 billion in its first week. Even movies don't get anywhere near that. Maybe 1.2 billion, 2 billion at the most with these big movies and franchises. But I know this is a big game and all that, but for it being an all digital game, first off, two, it's higher cost for both the standard and digital version, which the standard is $80 and $100 for the premium edition. That's a lot of roadblocks right there between it being digital only, where people got to download the whole game and some people don't have the best internet still, and the costs being way higher, which, like I said, $80 for GTA 6, I bet you it's going to be worth that. The $100 version, I don't know, but like I said, if I get enough of those Microsoft reward points, which I'm looking pretty good right now, by the time that game comes out, I should have almost enough for maybe the $100 edition. Then I will buy the $100 edition because most of that money will be just Xbox reward points dollars for me. So that's okay. But otherwise, if I don't get to that goal, to that close to that goal of $100 for that Ultimate Edition, I'll just buy the standard $80 edition. You know, I'll say fuck it. But otherwise, with the consoles being so expensive and not enough consoles, you know, Sony says they'll have enough. You can see Microsoft not having enough. It's not coming out on PC. It's not coming out on Switch 2. I don't see it reaching 3.25 billion. Maybe 2.5. I don't know. I could be wrong on this. I know it's, like I said, these are extravagant prices and stuff, but I don't know. I think their projections are going to be way off. I just got that feeling. And we're not in that area right now where you're going to make that much. If they do, okay, great. But how about if it doesn't? What does that say? Are they going to try to hurry up on the PC port of GTA 6 and maybe a Switch 2 version, if that's even possible? I don't know. They got some extremely high projections on saying projecting that it's going to be between 3.25 to $5.2 billion in sales in its first week. Like I said, even movies aren't doing that. Now, note, if we were in a situation where hardware is still cheap and software was cheap and everything was, you know, everybody still had jobs and money was flowing and stuff. Oh yeah, I would be 100% sure they would be making $3 to $5 billion on this game. Oh yeah, because everybody could afford a console, everybody could afford their high edition pricing and stuff like that. Oh, there would be no doubt in my mind that they'd reach the $3 to $5 billion mark in the first week. But now I'm thinking, I don't know, that's ambitious. But we'll see. It's always good to see and find out. And they're even talking about how the boss, Take-Two boss, Zelnick, stated that pricing has not kept pace with inflation. Take-Two boss insists Rockstar got GTA 6 Standard and Ultimate Edition's price points right. I'm hoping that Ultimate Edition ain't just a scummier version of the game, and I hope people that do get the $80 edition of the game, which could be me on top of it, it's going to be all right, that it's going to be like, oh yeah, this game is still going to be, decent to play, and that we won't be hindered by not having the extra stuff in it. We'll see. Um, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But he's coming out there trying to make all these grandiose predictions and stuff, and I'm just like thinking and shaking my head, going, I don't know, dude. Don't oversell it, because if that game is not up to people's standards in any way, shape, or form, or there's not enough people able to buy these consoles to buy this game, and people are waiting for PC versions or whatever, that could backfire on you, dude. That could backfire on you, and your whole only digital saying, "Oh, you're only for a digital future. That only a digital future going forward is acceptable," and blah 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 blah. You're just saying a bunch of fucking garbage that are just probably pissing off your fan base over there at Take-Two, and you don't want to hinder the sales by talking a bunch of bullshit. But you know what? Zelnick, he's an overpaid CEO, just like all these gaming CEOs are, where they're the ones making all this money and all the execs are making this money, and it's not going back into the products and to the system as much. And they don't give a shit. He's going to make his payday. He don't care. He don't care. Why would he care? But some of it's kind of icky to me. He's an icky kind of person. He has a face that a person would love to punch. He's got a face to punch, right? Yeah. He doesn't care about backwards compatibility. You could tell that. He doesn't care about legacy. You could definitely care about that. He cares about cha-ching, cha-ching. And yes, he's a businessman, but it seems like he just overstates it, that he overdoes it on all that stuff, and it makes him sound scummy when he just goes out there and says this random bullshit. Like, oh, it's going to be all streaming in the future. Maybe we might make our own streaming platform and only stream the game from our platform, where you can't play it on PlayStation or Xbox. You got to just have it streamed to your TV or console or PC. Yeah, he sounds like a delight. Sure, he's got the money, but he's scummy in, scummy out. I don't like those kind of people. I like people that are open to, reality, open to people's pleas, saying, hey, we understand. We're just doing this to protect the game and to protect the people from getting spoilers and stuff at first. And then eventually we think when, the game has fully been patched, because, there's going to be a bunch of patch. This is what I would say if I was the CEO. I'd be like, yeah, we want to patch it up more. We want to, if we get any more extra DLC and stuff, then we'll come out with the disc-based version later, because then we'll know that edition is fully done and everything is out there already. And then we could put it all on the disc and sell it to you guys, maybe in a collector's edition, so we can make even more money. But that's the only reason why we're just doing this digitally now, because it makes it easier for us and you guys to put out the best game patched as fully as we can patch it at the time on day one. If you would have said it that way, people would be like, oh, okay. And then, they'd be okay about, oh, we're going to eventually double dip on you suckers by reselling you this game on a disc later and stuff like that, But still, at least dude be open about it. But this is just him saying, digital only. That's okay. And then you just piss off a whole bunch of people. Oh. But I'm interested in that GTA sneak peek when it comes out at the end of the month. I will be ready for that. I hope you guys are going to be ready for it, because I will hopefully be ready for that. Actually, you know what I got to do, because I'm stupid and I forgot. Where's my history here? I forgot. Here we go. Is this the right one, or is it going to be the other one? Let's see here. I'm trying to look for the right one here. Sorry about this, folks. Bad pod. I'm trying to look for the right story. Here we go. Open a new tab. There we go. Save this. on to this for now. There we go. Okay. I just wanted to keep the date. I wanted to keep the date so I don't forget the date. You know what I mean? For that sneak peek date. Let's see. Did I have that? Yeah, I do have that. It's working. Okay. Sorry. So August 27th, folks, for 3 p.m. Eastern for your Netflix people. And then for YouTube, 7 p.m., I think. Or 9 p.m. I think it's 9 p.m. And it'll get 20 to 30 minutes of footage of the game, blah, 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 whatever they're doing for that. Yes, it will come out on YouTube a little bit later. So that will be on August the 27th. Yeah, 9 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. Yes. So 3 p.m. Eastern, Netflix, 9 p.m. Eastern on YouTube for GTA 6, August 27th. I will be ready for that. I got to put that on my calendar. Put it in my date book. My old man date book. Because I'm interested in that. Very interested. You know what else I'm interested in? Gaming news. I know we've been talking a lot. Let's get into the Gamez News. That is the Gamez News Now.
Locked and loaded, ready for the fight. Game talk news, gonna set the stage alight. Mr. Mike's got the scoop, he ain't holding back. Dropping bombs on the gaming industry track. Hear the thunder, feel the roar. Game talk news, gonna settle the score. From E3 to PAX, they got it all. The highs and lows, ready to brawl.
There we go. That was perfect. I did that perfectly that time. Okay. This podcast is going long again like it usually does. But let's get in. Let's finish this sucker up with some games news. And we got some games news here that I'll get through. So with the upcoming release in October of Gears of War E-Day, apparently there's been, and this is still rumored, but this is being reported by VGC, Video Games News Chronicle, that Xbox is reportedly releasing a beautiful limited edition Gears of War E-Day controller for which will coincide with the release of Gears of War E-Day. Nothing is being said by Microsoft yet about it. The controller is expected to be like $90, of course, you know, with one coat of paint on there. It's probably going to be looking like my 360 Gears of War controller. I have a 360 Gears of War controller back in my upstairs of my house here that I have in its, well, I used it before, but then I put it back in its wrapper later. And it's probably going to have the Gears of War logo on there, red and paint, you know, red and black paint. That's probably going to say E-Day or something on the bottom, or Gears of War, Gears E-Day or something on the bottom of the controller like they usually do. And that's going to be $80. Okay, it says this, here we go. Here's a message on it. The controller shell will reportedly consist of a cracked black and red textures, just like Gears of War. Reminiscent to the fizzled volcanic rock, the left stick in basic black color with the central section of the buttons. The D-pad and Xbox button and view, menu, and share buttons are all blood red with a red gear housing the iconic Gears of War logo encircling them, just like I said it would. The right stick and X button are also in blood red, and the A, B, and Y buttons are in black, creating what the Bill Kuhn says, a stark contrast between the two halves of the controller. The leaker states that the controller displays the same attention to the detail of the limited edition Doom controller, with the ability to integrate the visual identity of the franchise into every aspect of the design without ever resorting to superficial gimmicks. Yeah. Of course, Microsoft, Xbox always releases these limited edition collectible controllers. They're great to buy and own, especially if you got $90 for every controller. I do buy myself sometimes some limited controllers. I got the see-through series controller here. I did buy all those Duke controllers. I got a lot of Duke controllers in my house. Those cool gimmicks that I'll never really play much with. Maybe on a show or something, just for fun. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, this is gonna be a cool controller, but it's not something that I'm needing to get. I already got the original Xbox 360 Gears controller. That's cool in itself. If this would have came into my collectible Gears of War collectible thing, sure, I would have gladly bought it with that, but this is just a standalone controller. It's going to be great for people, fans of the game. Why not? Why not? Gears of War E-Day. This is from IGN. Gears of War E-Day open beta leads to Game Pass August 2026 lineup. Like I said, Gears of War E-Day open beta is open now. Early access starting in August 6th for Game Pass Ultimate, PC Game Pass and stuff. I think it's going to continue. Now, don't quote me on this. I think it's just going to continue on after Monday for regular Game Pass people, I think. I forgot how long it's going to... Here, actually, you know what I could do? Does this link go to this thing here? Doesn't show anything. Let's see here. I know, good pod. I'm just looking to see when they were announcing how long this was going to go up for. Maybe this I can get into. Let's see here. Does it show the dates and times? They used to do that. Now these articles don't. Let me check. I'm going all the way to the bottom here. Okay. That's that. It's not really showing me any dates on how long it's going for. I think it's going for another week. It's hard to say. Maybe if I look up on the page or something. I know it said it in the video, but I just forgot. And now none of these new articles show off how long these Gears of War and all that's going for, but yeah. Anyway, let's continue. So yeah, got the Gears of War E-Day open beta now. Heretic and Hexen for a bunch of stuff. That's August 4th, that's past. Beast of Reincarnation, that's out. I have not talked about that game yet. I have it downloaded to my PC, but I have not touched and played it yet. I heard a lot of mixed receptions about it, but I do want to try to check it out eventually when I get a chance to, but as of now, I have not had a chance to do that. Maybe something for a Let's Play or something coming up. I don't know, because I got nothing for Let's Play this week, so I don't know. Maybe for next week's Let's Play. We'll see. Then, like I said, Gears of War E-Day open beta. Monsters Are Coming. That's August 6th. That's already out. PowerWash Simulator 2 for the rest of you guys, August 6th. That's already out. Bounty Star, August 11th. Date Everything. Okay, that's a crazy one. August 11th. Mio, Memories of in Orbit, August 13th. Sandustry, game preview, August 13th. Egging On, August 18th. Grounded 2, game preview, August 11th. For you pretty much know what you need. Game Pass Premium and Ultimate for most of the stuff. A lot of stuff is coming to the regular stuff, but it's mostly Ultimate and stuff like that. X-Ball Pit, Cloud, Xbox Series X and S, handheld, and PC August 12th. Now with Game Pass Premium joining Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass. Cricket 26, August 13th, because people really want to play cricket. And then some stuff is leaving August 15th from Game Pass. Menace, Atlas Fallen, Aliens Fired, Team Elite, and Firewatch. Those are leaving Game Pass for August. And those are the games coming for August. Like I said, I gotta try to play that Beasts of Reincarnation. I want to try that. It looks interesting. Xbox console updates adding new capture and achievement features, plus an ability to roll back previous cloud saves. This is an article from IGN. So Xbox has announced yet another set of console features, which will begin rolling out to some users starting now, which is, this article's a couple days old. So yes, it's already out for some of these. As ever, these new features will begin being tested by Xbox insiders in the alpha skip ahead ring before slowly becoming available to all Xbox owners over the coming weeks. So probably by the end of the month or so, or next month. The biggest addition looks like the ability to include party chat audio within gameplay captures, so you can fully remember a particular gaming moment and reactions that came along with it. This feature has been designed so that the individual party members can choose whether their audio can be captured, and only will be after players manually opt in. That makes sense. Achievement hunters will likely celebrate to see an expanded set of options for tracking your progress, with your Chivo list now sortable by last played, completion percentage, gamer score earned, number of achievements unlocked, and more. And yes, you can sort these categories by ascending or descending order, allowing you to highlight where you close to a full 100,000 1,000 achievements, not 100,000 achievements, 1,000 achievements, or ready to start unlocking a new game's achievements from off. Next up, cloud saves. Player will be able to view and restore previous cloud save versions and support a game starting with Forza Horizon 6, allowing you to recover older progress point if necessary. That is good, because I know sometimes when you're going in the cloud, sometimes it says to me, oh, this version is newer than this version, or your version seems newer than the cloud version. And I'm like, but wait a second, that cloud version's newer, says the data is newer than the one on my current version. So why are you saying this one's newer than that? Sometimes I don't get that. It doesn't make sense, but I'm glad that you'll be able to go in and eventually and try to look at older cloud saves and see what's the exact cloud save you want to use from that. That's cool. That's cool. So if you ever experienced a corrupted save or want to go back and replay part of a game differently, this option should help you out. That's cool. Backups on saves. I like that. Off in cloud backups of saves. And finally, Xbox is expanding your game wish list, allowing you to add up to 1,000 titles. That should be surely enough. And that's just things that they keep adding, because my Xbox keeps adding newer updates over time, because people want more updates to their Xbox gaming and consoles and all that stuff. So yeah, great. Guess what Ubisoft's doing? Well, apparently Ubisoft is reportedly planning to re-announce Beyond Good and Evil 2 as it nears 20 years since it's first revealed. So they've been working on this game. This game has been a joke for 20 long years. 20 long years for Beyond Good and Evil 2. When I first saw this, now this makes me feel very old, because when I first saw this, I was like, I think it was the Xbox One, because it had to be if it was 20 years. And I was looking at the trailer for Beyond Good and Evil 2, what they were showing with the pig and, and all that, and Jade and all that. And I forgot the pig's name, but Jade and the pig. And I was like, oh, is this going to be what it looks like? And then they were showing like some fake gameplay and stuff, and they were flying in their ship and stuff. And I'm like, oh, if this game looks like this and it plays like this, oh boy, I cannot wait. I never even, and the funny thing is, I still have never played Beyond Good and Evil. I have the HD version of it. I do have Beyond Good and Evil HD collection, or whatever it's called. Anniversary edition. That's probably what it's called. I haven't played it yet. But I was looking at this, I'm like, oh yeah, big giant ugly talking pig with the sexy young girl lady. Yeah, she was all punky ass and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, when's this game coming out? Its last trailer was in 2017, it said. Holy shit. 20 years. And then they're going to re-announce this saying, hey, guess what, guys? We're still working on it. Instead of just saying, waiting till it's actually almost finished and saying, hey, guess what, guys? We're re-announcing this. Wait, we're still working on it, but guess what? It's going to be out next year, finally. Finally. That would, I don't know. This is an article from Destructoid, but it's funny. It's funny. Beyond and Good and Evil 2. It's went longer than frickin' Duke Nukem Forever. And the longest. What other games were in long developments? I'm betting that Beyond Good and Evil 2 is going to break every record for that as the longest game in development, right? As it's probably been redone and redone again and redone again and restarted over and over again. Troubled development. Troubled development. Why? But that's not the only studio and place that has troubled development. In this IGN article, which we all probably would understand about, especially for this team and stuff like this, and how these games have always been in troubled development. Halo Campaign Evolved reportedly had troubled development that impacted a now canceled multiplayer project. Who would have thought that? Who would have thought that Halo Campaign Evolved would have had troubled development when it went to a whole new game engine? They had to train people. Then there was how to make the game look and feel just like the original in a way and add new stuff to it. And then it took a long time to do so. Yeah. Yeah. I can understand why Halo Studios 343 Studios would be like this. Mm-hmm. And of course now, in the next article, I'm not going to say any more about that. A lot of games have troubled development. A lot of games. It's hard to make games. And then how decisions are made, how you make the game and produce the game, it takes a long time. It takes a lot of effort. So I can fully understand all that stuff. Now, after the game has been completed, Halo Infinite, and this is from Windows Central, Halo Campaign Evolved has released. And guess what? Bunch of people got laid off in the studio. So all those people working 6.5 years, it says, working on Halo and dodging just as many rounds of layoffs, a lot of people got fired, let go after the project was finished. Even though they got this team to take the time and got these people to learn the Unreal Engine and how to make the game and stuff like that. And supposedly they're going to be working on either Halo 2 remastered or maybe a proper new Halo game or something like that. You're just letting all those people go. Which makes no sense to me in a way. I know it's just starting off in a new project because they're just finishing off a project, so you don't need that many people doing stuff. But why can't they do stuff to help out other studios in the meantime, or work on like smaller projects internally to, learn and get stuff more out of the Unreal 5 engine and get more out of the next Halo, or help patch the current Halo game, or if it needs patching or something like that? Why are they just letting people go when they're going to need those people to make the next Halo remaster or anything else in the Halo universe? It just seems, but I understand that why they're doing this now, and why they're letting people go after, they're laying off people after the Halo Campaign Evolved released, because they're going back to the old ways of how things worked in the industry, which people do not like, and a lot of the game creators don't like, because they're on a project, they finish a project, and now it's time for them to go home. People don't like that. They don't like that, but that's the way things are going back to, I guess. And it's to save funding and finances, and that's just how the industry is going. It doesn't matter if you're on a union or not. That's just how they're going to go forward with that stuff. And it seems icky to me, and it seems icky to a lot of people, but if you got so much overhead that you're paying for that you're not using and utilizing, it makes sense. But then when you do ramp up more projects and stuff of the games, it just seems to me like you're going to need those people back to work on that game. And I wish they would be able to have like 2 projects per studio. So after you're finishing this project, you can push a lot of those people onto the next project and they can start working on that next project right away and not just have any downtime, because you want to pump out games faster. You want people to keep working for you to pump out those games and learn the hardware and learn the Unreal 5 engine and stuff from the Halo engine. It just seems like a stupid way to go about things, but that's what they're doing again. And Halo Campaign Evolved, it did pretty good. It didn't get top spot, apparently, as the most popular game on the Xbox at launch. It was number 4 on the list. So you can tell that most people were like, price point $50 for just the campaign. 2, it doesn't have any multiplayer for most people. That's not a starter for them. They're going to wait till it goes down in price a little bit. Plus, they probably play multiplayer on the other Halo games. So understandably, it's not number 1. But 4 is not bad. And it's for the PS5, it came out at number 29. So nobody's buying on a PS5, which I thought they were. I heard rumors that a lot of people were buying it and playing it and liking it on the PlayStation, but I guess not. So all you PlayStation fanboys and girls out there that don't have any games to play, I guess Halo isn't for you, or it's just because you can't play multiplayer with it. And you can play multiplayer, but you got to play single player multiplayer up to 4 people. But I guess that's not what you want. And I guess $50 might be a little too much for this game, which I can understand. It should have been like $39.99. If there was $39.99, I bet you it'd be number 1 on Xbox, and I bet you it'd be a lot lower on the list on PS5. And this was a story by Games Radar. But yeah, not doing so well on PlayStation. But also, for all you player gamers, you Xbox fanboys, not my kind of fanboy, but you purists out there that keep crying out for exclusivity, maybe this will help you out a little bit, saying, hey, look, it's selling horribly on the PlayStation. They don't want these games on the PlayStation. So just make these Halo games and stuff on Xbox. Make Gears of War only on Xbox. Make Halo only on Xbox, because we'll buy them here. They don't want them on PlayStation, so only make them for us. Maybe that's the thinking. I don't know. I can see those fanboys crying out, going, see, why waste resources on the PlayStation version? Only make it exclusive. Make everything exclusive to Xbox. Because we're getting into those kind of weird wars again. When times get tough, everybody lock it all down. In a final news story, which I'm going to go through very, very quickly, from VGC, Video Games Chronicle, Final Fantasy VII Revelation Director states that the base game will definitely end the story, and that any DLC would be a spin-off of that story. So Naoki Hamaguchi stated and asserted players that there won't be any DLC epilogue, at least from right now. And if there's any DLC, it's just going to be separate stuff. So that's good. So the third part after Remake, whenever I get back into playing Remake, or Rebirth. Remake. Sorry. No. Yeah. Man, I get them confused all the time because it's Final Fantasy Rebirth. Yeah, Remake. Intergrade. Wait. Remake? Rebirth. Oh my God. My head. Wait. Final Fantasy Remake was released in 2020. It received an enhanced update called Integrate. Yes. Okay. Remake is first. Rebirth is second. Okay. Whew. Man, that confuses me. Why can't they just go Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1, Rebirth Part 2, then the next one Part 3 for Revelation? That would make it a lot easier for people like my mindset for this. But at least he's coming out there. The director's coming out there saying, hey, when this is done, this game is done, and this final part of it is done for Revelation, that's it. That's the story. You're all done. Then we'll go on to another Final Fantasy game. So he's just reinsuring people, and I'm glad for that. Why not? I think that's cool. I like it when they're upfront for all that stuff, and I'm very happy about that stuff. I'm, as a gamer, like I said, I got to play more Rebirth here on my thing. Do I have this still on my PC? I think I still do. I'm checking it out now. Excuse me if my video goes a little crappy in the PC thing here. Let's see here. Did I delete it? Maybe I deleted it off of here. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Interesting. I might have taken it off my computer, which is weird. I didn't think I did. Or maybe it's just not on my list. Hold up. I thought I kept Rebirth on here, a remake. Let's see. Yeah, it's on here. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Yeah, it's right here. Why is it not on my Xbox list? Weird. Weird. Whatever. But yeah, I'm going to be playing. Eventually, I got to be playing more, especially now that I can just play Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced as my streamer for Friday nights. Then I could go back to playing Final Fantasy Rebirth as my regular game going forward on my handheld. So that's going to be cool. A lot of open world games for me to play, continuing the tragedy that I do. That is it. That is it for the Gamez News, Games Talk. We're almost at 3 hours. I got to get out of here. I got to edit this thing, get it all set up for tomorrow, which is today for you guys watching and listening to this podcast. But I got to set it up and get it all ready for tomorrow for me. And I got to go make my lunch and dinner, which is going to be pizza. I'm going to grill pizza today. It's going to be grilled pizza Sunday today. That's what I decided. So I want to do that. And yeah. And I'll hopefully be able to play some games this week. We'll see how the week goes. I don't think I got much going on this week. As of what's going on during this week, like I said, you got the podcast today. I don't have any Let's Play for Wednesday because I already put out a Let's Play for Sunday, which is today as I'm talking to you guys. I got that not first, it's kind of a first, but that Let's Play of Gears of War E-Day multiplayer. If you want to check that out on my website at OldFreakyGamer.com or on YouTube.com, OldFreakyGamer, you can check out me playing it. It's very fun, especially that horde extraction mode. That's very fun. And I'm sure I'll be better at the PvP eventually. But you can check that out. So nothing for this Wednesday. And then Friday, I'm going to stream more pirating. We're going to be more pirating in Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced on Friday. And hopefully I'll play more of that on Friday because last Friday I had to wake up early on Saturday, so I couldn't stay up. Well, I did stay up late, but still, I couldn't game that late to do the stream and stuff. But yeah, that's what I got for this week. And then hopefully next week I'll have a Let's Play or something. Maybe I'll do that Beast and Reincarnation thing as a first Let's Play or something for Wednesday or something. We'll see. But it's going to be a light week for me for stuff. Depending on how it is, how the weather's going to be outside, and see what I do outside and around the house. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see how work goes. We'll see how everything goes. So everybody, that's it for me. That's it for this podcast. I'm going to go. Catch me again next week with another great podcast edition. I usually put these out at noon on Mondays. I usually schedule it for noon and it auto comes out. And then I put it on my website when I get home because I got to do that separately because of the YouTube and all that stuff. But yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. You can get this podcast on YouTube for the video version or oldfreakygamer.com. You can you can listen to this podcast on any major podcast app. And you can get it on any major podcast app or Podbean, which is my host, or oldfreakygamer.com. I got nothing else. So everybody, thank you again. And Mr. Mike, am signing out, going to enjoy the rest of my Sunday. So everybody, game on, game hard, world conquest. I'm pushing this gaming button, and the show is now game over. Going to play some games. That's right. That's right.
Pixel skies and neon nights, controllers lit like fireflies. Old freaky gamer in the zone, level up the unknown. Games up news, it's all a thrill. Conquering worlds with skill on skill. Game on, game on. Streaming stars, we're never far. Game on, game hard. In this conquest, we're avatars. The mic calls the plays, gaming chair, endless days. Podcast echoes through the streams, living out our pixel dreams. Hit that button, go live, go live. In this realm where games survive. Games attack with a rebel spark. We're lighting up the digital dark. Game on, game hard. Streaming stars, we're never far.
Game over.